and the Heidelberg University Student Princes, a game in which, Elijah, we thought was going to have a lot of implications on today, but thanks to Muskingum's victory over Baldwin-Wallace, Otterbein is already in the OAC tournament, so I think there's definitely needs to be a motivational for the place here.
Well, Jacob, you're definitely right. Otterbein is, in fact, in the OAC tournament. They did make it in as the eighth seed. The reason being, Muskingum won today, so that made the sense that Heidelberg is 1-1 against Muskingum. We are 2-0 against Muskingum. And Muskingum went 1-1. They split with Heidelberg. So in that sense, because Otterbein went 2-0 against Muskingum, even if all the teams tied for that last position, if Otterbein loses tonight, it would still mean that the Otterbein Cardinals would be in because of the way that the tournament does the tiebreakers. You look, Jacob, at the tiebreakers, and you know, Muskingum, they split, and Heidelberg split with them as well, and then Otterbein went 2-0 against Muskingum. So that meant that Otterbein is in because they are 2-0 against Muskingum, whereas Heidelberg only at 1-1. So this game really has no implication on if Otterbein gets in the tournament, as Otterbein already has clinched that A spot.
You make a great point there, Elijah, though, except I think you look at a lot of teams who have clinched postseason berths in the past, both pro and college. And it seems like even though, they have games like this where they virtually don't mean anything anymore, we saw back in 2005, you go back to Peyton Manning, and when the Colts and Peyton Manning were undefeated, and they lost the last two games of the regular season to them, it was no big deal. They were still clinching the playoff spot. They still had the top spot in the AFC. So, but then you look at the very next playoff game, the very first playoff game to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they lost because they lost all that momentum. And I think if you're the Cardinals, you need to focus on the win here tonight. You need to focus on the win, and you need to focus on getting it for the sake of that momentum.
And Otterbein comes into this game sitting at a record of 4-20 and 3-14 in the OAC. And Jacob, this Otterbein team has not swept Heidelberg and won 2 games against the Berg since the 2004-2005 season. So Otterbein has something that they haven't done in a while that they could possibly do tonight as they take on the Heidelberg Student Princes. Well, Jacob, on Wednesday evening, they traveled up. The Otterbein Cardinals traveled up to John Carroll. David Kinder and I had the call of that game. They ended up losing to the John Carroll Blue Streaks by a final score of 72-55. Matt Rhodes and Jake Phillips, they led in scoring with 11 points. Otterbein only shot the ball 30% from the field, and they had 13 turnovers. So Jacob, you look at this last game, and you got to look and see that Otterbein really kind of struggled against a very good John Carroll basketball team. And coming into this one, Heidelberg at the bottom of this conference, and this can be an easy game for Otterbein to get some momentum back after that tough loss against John Carroll.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But I think the point you have to make across there is that they're virtually outsized the entire game against John Carroll. We saw it the first game here where John Carroll, once they started to get momentum going their way, they took advantage of the size down low. Now, when you look at Heidelberg's roster, you have Jack Hart, the junior, who stands at 6'9". But aside from that, Cole Williams, Deontay Holder, Jackson Blue, Mike Petrie, Keith Mackey, all those guys are within size range of the Cardinals. So definitely you guys like John Juergens and Grant Fenner you want to rely on.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. This is an Otterbein team that has really struggled coming in. It's been an Otterbein team that's really struggled coming in, rebounding the basketball. Right now, for rebounds per game, they sit at 8th in rebounding defensively out of 10 teams in the OAC, so that's something to also look for in this matchup. But looking at the last time these two teams faced off, Otterbein did win this game by a final score of 81-77 against the Heidelberg Student Princes. Jake Phillips had his career high of 30 points in that basketball game. The Otterbein Cardinals also shot the ball 51% from the floor. So Jake Phillips had an incredible game in that game. Probably won't duplicate it tonight. So what does Otterbein have to do since they're not going to be able to rely on 30 points from Jake Phillips tonight?
I think you have to think of a defensive-minded mentality like you mentioned there in the game notes. I think This is a team that historically throughout the season, they have struggled with that up-tempo style of play and really struggled to get back on the other side of the court. The past few games, though, they have lost, but you look at the Capital game, 69-56, they were in that game because the defense tried everything they could to keep them in it. I think that has to be the case here tonight. You know, Heidelberg, top 4 shooting, three-point shooting team in the conference. So I think you really have to focus on going from the outside in on defense.
Yeah, and Keith Mackey for Heidelberg, he led the way in that game. He had 25 points for the Student Princes. So Heidelberg also had a very good performance in that game. And Jacob, Otterbein coming in has had a tough time defensively, as you talked about. But in the matchup today, the OAC tournament, as we said, was going to be on the line. However, Otterbein with the Muskingum win ended up getting in due to some technical or standing issues as Heidelberg only split with Muskingum, whereas Otterbein went 2-0 against the Muskies, so that gets them in the tournament. But Otterbein comes in again 4-20 and 3-14 in the OAC. Heidelberg coming in 6-18 and 2-15 in the OAC. So Jacob, really, this is going to be a game that Otterbein, I think, can have a very good chance to win today. As we see, they won the last matchup 81-77. So Jacob, what are your keys to the game tonight for the Otterbein Cardinals, and how do you think this game is going to play out?
Well, I think the first key, Elijah, is you have to look at playing defense against this team. Again, kind of going from the outside in on zone defense, preventing, keeping that outside, keeping them on the outside, but again, neutralizing that three-point threat that these guys have. And I think if you're Coach Adrian, yeah, it's gotten out there through social media, but you never know. If I'm him, I'm doing everything I can to not tell my players. Give them a sense of motivation. It is senior night for John Juergens, so this is going to be his last game he ever plays in the Reich Center. Marshall Crum is redshirting and is taking an extra year here next season. So I really think that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to be motivation, number one, and defense, number two.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Jacob. I think that one thing you look at, you talk about defense. Otterbein is 10th in the OAC. They give up 85 points a game, and that's something that they've struggled with all year. We've talked about it from the beginning, and, Coach Adrian's had to reiterate with us about, why they've struggled so much defensively this year. But Heidelberg, not much better. They are 7th in the OAC, and they give up 77 points a game. So Heidelberg not much better defensively, and I think that defense is really going to play a big part in this game. So, Jacob, if you're Otterbein, what do you do against a Heidelberg team that likes to give up a lot of points? How do you contain this team defensively and offensively? How are you getting the ball in the basket so that you can continue your offensive presence that you've shown all year?
Well, I think Jake Phillips has to be on his A game. There's no doubt about it. He's on his A game. The rest of these guys seem to follow suit. I think John Juergens has to make his presence known down low. These guys need to learn to spread it out all over the court. You have guys that can shoot like Jake Bischoff. You have guys that can shoot like Jake Phillips. But you have a guy that can work down low like John Juergens, in addition to Grant Fenner and Matt Rhodes. You got guys that can shoot the ball all over the place. I think we're going to be in for a high-scoring affair tonight because of the lack of defense that has been shown by both these teams tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of, I don't want to say there's going to be no sense of urgency, but at the same time, Heidelberg's already out of it, and Otterbein is already in. So I think if you're Heidelberg, you're playing for pride. If you're Otterbein, you're playing for momentum in the tournament. So you're looking at two different perspectives here.
And you talk about, the sense of urgency, Jacob. I really think that both these teams want to win this basketball game. I think it's going to come down to, who in the end can stop the other one defensively, because both these teams, they give up a lot of points. So I think that coming in, it's going to be a situation of who is able to stop the other team in a big-time possession here late in this game, Jacob. But, one other thing I look at that's a huge key for me also, you look at three-point shooting. Both these teams really like to put the ball up from beyond the arc. Heidelberg is 4th in the conference in three-pointers made per game, and Otterbein sits at 7th in the conference shooting three-pointers or having made three-pointers in the conference. But Jacob, these are two teams that like to put the ball up from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One guy that stands out for me for Heidelberg is a guy by the name of Deontay Holder. He's 41 of 103 from behind the arc. Then you look at Mike Petrie, who's 50 of 159. Two guys that love to put up that shot, 159 shots from behind the arc. says something about your three-point shooting abilities and your willingness to shoot from the outside.
Yeah, and Jacob, you know, another thing that I look at, another key for me is definitely going to be rebounding. We talked about it before earlier on in this broadcast. Heidelberg, they're fourth in the OAC in offensive rebounding, and Otterbein is eighth in defensive rebounding out of the 10 teams in the OAC. So, Jacob, we talk about it and how Otterbein is very undersized. What do the Cardinals have to do to find a way to put bodies on this Heidelberg offense and not allow second chance points?
Well, it's up to the biggest players these guys do have to step up. You have Grant Fenner's capabilities down low. John Juergens has shown that, you know, in certain flashes that he can play defense. And you also have guys like Matt Rhodes and Mark McEwen. McEwen's seen a lot more playing time, really trying to do his best he can to fill in for Marshall Crum, although that has been no easy task for him.
And Marshall Crum, as we mentioned, has a broken jaw, and he is out for the season. So that's going to be a tough loss for Otterbein as they move into the OAC tournament. And so, Jacob, before this game gets set, as we still have about 4 minutes here until tip-off, you know, looking into the tournament, what do you think this Otterbein team has to do to pull off an upset? As we know from those of you that want to know who Otterbein might be playing in the tournament, chance to play either Baldwin Wallace or John Carroll look like the two major teams that Otterbein will have a chance to play in the OAC tournament. So, Jacob, really, what's going to be the key for this Otterbein team looking into the tournament?
Looking into the tournament, I think you have to kind of reflect on last year, and it's going to be up to guys like Jason Davis and Marshall Crum and John Juergens to really fill that void. This was a team last year that got in by default. They had Baldwin Wallace was banned from postseason due to self-imposed implications on scholarship issues, and they snuck in. But they took advantage of it. They won the first round against a very good John Carroll team. So I think you have to look at you have to put the regular season behind you, just as any sport goes. You have to throw the records out in the regular season. It doesn't matter in the second season.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. It's going to be a fun postseason for the Otterbein Cardinals as they are going to be in that OAC tournament. But as we mentioned, again, the Heidelberg Student Princes have come to town and will take on the Otterbein Cardinals here at the Reich Center. And Jacob, we talked about Jake Phillips, who had 30 points in that last meeting between the two teams. And he's going to be a key factor for the Otterbein Cardinals today, I think. Also, one guy we haven't mentioned that leads Otterbein in scoring this year is Jake Bischoff. Bischoff has led the Cardinals in scoring with about 15 points per game. And also another guy that we're going to talk about here that I think has come up huge this entire season has been Matt Rhodes. I think Matt Rhodes has played very well this entire season. However, Coach Adrian had him on the bench for the first half of that game in John Carroll, or in University Heights at John Carroll. So, you know, Jacob, Matt Rhodes has played well. What do you think he has to do tonight to help the Otterbein Cardinals pull out a victory?
I think you have to look at his numbers from behind the three-point arc, and it's what he's succeeded at thus far this season. 31 of 70 behind the three-point arc, and he's at 44.3%. I think he knows his niche. There's no doubt about it. When you see him pull up that three-pointer, he knows why he's taking it. He knows he can do it. And since really coming back from his suspension with the team, he's really played with a lot of vengeance, a lot of revenge, it seems like. He wants his team to win. He's really stepped up as an emerging leader on this team, despite only being a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, you're definitely right. He really has stepped up this entire season. You know, Matt Rhodes, the Westerville North native, you know, the hometown kid. Everyone coming into this season was very hyped up about Matt Rhodes as he transferred in from Tiffin. And I think at the end of the season, he's really started to come on a little bit for the Cardinals, and hopefully into the OAC tournament, he can do the same thing. But another guy we're going to talk about is Jake Bischoff. He's really played very well this entire season. Jacob, what is he going to have to do tonight for the Otterbein Cardinals?
I think Jake Bischoff just has to be Jake Bischoff, honestly, Elijah. There really hasn't been many flaws in his entire game, which is a big reason why Coach Adrian has made him a team captain already. He is the leader now of this team, and he is a leader in the future. I think if you look, you know, you roll down his numbers, and this kid can do anything you want him to do. He can shoot from behind the arc. He can shoot it from the field. He can shoot it from the charity stripe. He can do whatever he wants to with that basketball.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. As the Otterbein Cardinals have huddled up here near center court, and about 30 seconds here until they start the senior day festivities. And Jacob, some of the seniors that will be Entering today are going to be Jason Davis, one of the seniors for the Otterbein Cardinals. He will be playing his final game in the Reich Center. Jason Davis will play his final game here at the Reich Center, as well as John Juergens, who will also play his final game here at the Reich Center. And Jacob, I think both these guys have had tremendous careers here at Otterbein.
Well, most notably for John Juergens. I mean, you look at what this guy has meant for this team. You know, he didn't even play his freshman year. Came in, you know, after a one-year hiatus after playing in high school, and really has just developed instant chemistry with this team, especially talking with Marshall Crum. You know, he plans to after graduation, Juergens actually plans to stay in Westerville with Crum because he will be taking a job next year here in Columbus after graduation. So great for him. Great to hear for him.
And here as Jason Davis walks out on the floor to receive his frame here from Coach Adrian, as well as Coach Mills and Coach Rob Purley. So Jason Davis out at center court here for the Otterbein Cardinals, and he, as Jacob mentioned, Jason Davis, he wants to find a job in the sports business field or get into coaching. Those are his plans after college. And Jason Davis, a great career here at Otterbein. And Jacob, another guy, he hasn't really played much this season, but he has come up big for the Otterbein Cardinals when he's needed to. And so now, just awaiting John Juergens to come out on the floor. But Jason Davis getting a round of applause here from this crowd at the Reich Center that started to file in, Jacob. And the Reich Center, we got a good crowd on hand to watch this team as they have clinched a spot in the A spot in the OAC.
Yeah, I think that's definitely gotten out over Twitter, Elijah, and I think that's given fans a reason to kind of show up. Really see them for the last time this season, despite going to the OAC tournament.
And so
some of them might plan on traveling, but really celebrate. It was a tough season for this team, no doubt, but they have fought through what many other teams haven't had to go through this season. They haven't, no team in the OAC has more youth than this team does. No more team has more of a brighter future, I think, too. You're not really losing a whole lot, and you're getting most of your team back next year.
And so John Juergens now at center court with his parents as he shook the hands of Coach Adrian as well as Coach Rob Purley and Coach Micah Mills. So as John Juergens here gets a round of applause from this Reich Center crowd as he stands at center court. So John Juergens, Jason Davis, the two seniors here on senior day for the Otterbein Cardinals, as they're going to take a picture here right in the front of our table here down on the center court line.
Once again, let's have a round of applause for our graduating senior, Jason Davis.
And another big hand here from this Reich Center crowd. And Jacob, as we get started here at the Reich Center, again, just another note is that this could be the first time since the 2004 and 2005 senior, or 2004-2005 season that the Otterbein Cardinals could beat Heidelberg twice in one season. We're going to pause here quickly for the national anthem.
We invite you to please rise, remove your hats, and join us for the playing of our national anthem.
So as the national anthem finishes up here at the Reich Center, we are going to get to the starting lineups for both ball clubs, and Jacob coming in to this game. Otterbein again sits at 3-14 in the OAC, and for the Otterbein Cardinals, starting at guard is going to be number 1, Andy Azrombeck. At guard, number 2, Jason Davis, as he's going to start here for the senior night festivities. Number 22, Jake Bischoff. Number 23, John Juergens. And number 34, Grant Fenner. They will be the starting lineup for the Otterbein Cardinals.
And starting lineup for the Heidelberg University Student Princes, a sophomore guard out of Columbus, Ohio, and Licking Heights High School, number 1, Deontay Holder. A sophomore forward out of Westchester, Ohio, and Lakota West High School, number 2, Jackson Blue. A senior guard out of Columbus Beechcroft, number 3, Mike Petrie. A junior center out of Oregon, Ohio, number 34, Doug Waldmanstetter. And a senior guard out of Detroit, Michigan, number 35, Keith Mackey. As two teams get ready to announce their starting lineups. And Elijah, looking into this game, I think when you always hear that kind of music for the starting lineups, it's going to be a little different tonight. It's senior night number 1, but you have the crowd behind you in a sense.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. It's going to be a completely different atmosphere for these Otterbein Cardinals. They know they have a spot locked up for the ace spot in the tournament, and it's a big night for Jason Davis as well as John Juergens, who are going to be playing their final game here at the Reich Center.
Momentum is a key, as Elijah and I both mentioned earlier on. We see Azrombeck, Davis, Bischoff, Juergens, and Grant Fenner take the floor here. Grant Fenner, Elijah, has really been another guy that really has stood out. With the numbers he's been able to put up, especially taking up a spot down low. A guy really to watch now and into the future. With 9 freshmen, it's hard to watch a lot of those guys, but one guy that really stands out is Fenner himself.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Grant Fenner is going to have to be a big force down low for the Otterbein Cardinals in the upcoming years.
Both teams are set for the opening tip here in the Reich Center. It's senior night, ladies and gentlemen, from Westerville, Ohio. Once again, if you're just joining us, Jacob Barker along with Elijah Gonzalez at CBJ2 at Abahu14 on Twitter. You can also follow us on Twitter at Otterbein TV or online at otterbein.tv if you're tuning in online. Juergens is set for the opening tip against Waldmanstetter. Waldmanstetter, the tallest guy on the floor at 6'7". He will look to match up against Juergens. Juergens and Waldmanstetter are set for the opening tip, and we are underway. Right off the opening tip, Petrie tries to walk in himself, but it's taken away by Bischoff as Petrie lost the handle on that one.
That was a nice play there by Jason Davis. Stuck his hand right in there and got the strip as Heidelberg was going up for a layup.
Fenner tries to scramble outside top of the key. He'll bring it off to Azrombeck. Looks to drive right wing for Bischoff. Bischoff, he'll hand it off inside right side of the hoop for Fenner. Fenner tried to put up a shot, but there was nobody there to get the rebound.
This has been a good defensive possession here by the Student Princes, making Otterbein work for their basket.
Shot clock down to 5. Azrombeck, quick jumper. He's got it. And 1 for Andy Azrombeck.
That's a nice shot there by Andy Azrombeck. Came with the quick crossover. Only 7 seconds on the shot clock. Made a nice play. Realized that the clock was counting down and knew he had to make a play.
Azrombeck, not known for his free throw shooting abilities, but 28 of 50. Shooting 1 is Andy Azrombeck. 19:25 left here in the first half. And he's got it. 3-0 Cardinals on top.
And Andy Azrombeck went down in that John Carroll game, did not return with a leg injury. So obviously showing no signs of injury right now.
Coach Adrian said yesterday he was going to be rather questionable, was he, Azrombeck, and that was just as of yesterday. But if it being senior night in the last game of the regular season and up until today, they did not know that they were going to be in the tournament. He obviously is not going to miss out on that opportunity. Davis double teamed there by the Student Princes, looks to break it out.
And that's a good job by Otterbein to break in the press. That's something they struggled with at John Carroll, so we'll see if that hurts them tonight.
That one's nearly picked off by Blue. But Fenner recovers, and Jason Davis will bring it in. Tries to bring it in himself against Waldmanstetter, and that's an outsized matchup there, Elijah.
And that's
looks
a
like
foul on Andy Azrombeck. Yeah, he rode him a little bit down the court. But Jason Davis, that I don't know if he drew the foul there, but nonetheless, going in 3 Heidelberg defenders, that was going to be a tough shot to finish either way. And Otterbein's had to make a stand defensively, but right now Heidelberg, Jacob, has really impressed me defensively, doing a good job of staying in front of these Otterbein guards.
Petrie will take the top of the key, and he'll hand it off on the right wing. Mackey tries to hand it off inside. Waldmanstetter up against Fenner. He nearly missed, but he gets his own rebound and puts it back in.
And a nice little pick and roll play there. They doubled the screen. However, the Heidelberg player wide open underneath the basket and then got his own rebound. That was number 34, Doug Waldmanster. So that was a nice play there by Waldmanster.
Davis just taking his time, getting through that press. Shot clock down to 20. 18-15 and counting here in the first half. Fenner tries to drive it against Waldmanstetter, right side of the hoop. Now Davis, long three-pointer, and he's got it down the drain. The senior out of Westerville, Ohio, so Jason Davis.
That's a big shot there by Jason Davis.
Mackey, now he'll hand it off to Blue, right wing. Taylor tries to bring it inside the lane, but he's triple teamed there by the Cardinal defense, and Yez Rombach will come away with it.
Yeah, that's a nice play there by Grant Fenner on that block. Bodied right up to him, and a nice play.
Yez Rombach cuts the basket, now left wing, Bischoff for three, no good, rebounded out. 6-2 Cardinals on top as Petru bring it in across the key. Left wing for three, and that one's an air ball, but it's kept alive by Taylor. Waldmanstetter now. Out top for three for Mackey, and that one was no good. Cardinals scramble for it. Bischoff gets a hand on it, and Fenner comes away with it.
And that was a nice play there by Waldmanstetter. He saw that Mackey was open for three, and he kicked it right out to him, but they still could not convert. But as you see, Jacob, both teams shooting the ball from deep early.
Bischoff defended there by Taylor. Right wing, Yez Rombach for three. In and out of the hoop. He nearly thought he had that one.
And yet another three, Jacob. Both these teams shooting it deep from behind the arc as you see a three go in. Speak of three, see a three go in there by Marquise Taylor. But
Marquise Taylor, the one draining that three-pointer there. Taylor now trying to put pressure on Yez Rombach, trying to kill some of that shot clock, but nice long lead pass for Grant Fenner, left wing for three, and that one was an air ball. But we're going to get a foul called here.
We're going to get it out of bounds here as the ball went out of bounds on the block shot. Nice play there on the block shot by Heidelberg as Fenner's going to come out for Matt Rhodes. I don't know if Coach Adrian thought that was the shot that Fenner should have taken there. But Matt Rhodes, nonetheless, one guy we talked about earlier on in the broadcast, is coming in the game for the Cardinals.
Here's Rombach. He'll take the inbound from Davis, top of the key. 15 seconds left on the shot clock and counting. Davis defended by Petri, now brings it top of the key himself, outside for Bischoff. Bischoff rounds around the outside, and Yez Rombach will rotate it back out. Shot clock down to 5, Yez Rombach now, he'll take a three off the rim, and Petri grabs the rebound.
And again, Jacob, this three-point shooting is going to be what the key to the game here is, because it looks like early both teams want to shoot the ball from deep.
Luke tries to take it to the hoop, he'll go to the line.
And Jackson Blue, that's a nice take there from Blue, as three Heidelberg student princes are going to check into the game. But Jackson Blue, a nice strong take to the basket into two Heidelberg defenders, or into two Otterbein defenders, excuse me.
Blue on the season from the free throw lines, 33-65. Puts his first shot up, and it's good. Jackson Blue, Elijah, not really a guy that looks that big, but when you see him on the court and the way he drives to that hoop, really a guy that stands out.
Yeah, he takes the ball to the basket strong, and he kept it high on that play. The reason for the foul there, as a strip was coming down low, and the foul's going to go on, looks like the foul.
Substitutions here for the Cardinals. Mark McEwen coming in for Juergens.
Foul went on Matt Rose. That's his first, the team's second. So that's going to be a matchup to watch all day between Jackson Blue and Matt Rhodes.
Blue's second shot is good. And onto the court for the student princes also comes Cole Williams, number 0. Davis will inbound it. Again, trying to break this full court press and trap by the student princes. Davis now is pressured by Mackey heavily, tries to bring it across center court. Long lead pass for Yez Rombach. Right wing, Matt Rhodes for three. He's got it. That's normally his bread and butter, Elijah. Something that he loves to shoot the three-pointer.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. As Mackey shoots the three-pointer, it's short, but again, the three-point shooting going to be a key. And nonetheless, Otterbein doing a good job of breaking the press that Heidelberg's put in.
Speak the devil, Matt Rhodes again. This time he misses that one as well. But now give and go back to Matt Rhodes, and he's got it. Great pass from Mark McEwen.
Yeah, that's a nice pass there by McEwen. He saw the cutting Rhodes, made a nice play. And Heidelberg really pressing defensively. So a good job there of cutting back door by Matt Rhodes.
as the Student Princes will try to work it around perimeter, tries to bring it in himself. Cole Williams off the rim. A couple guys jostling for it there are the Cardinals, but Davis comes away with it. The Cardinals with 4 men across the court, now 5. Rhodes nowhere to go with it. Jason Davis will set it up. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 15 minutes left here in the first half. 8-7 Cardinals on top. Nice fake there by Bischoff. Trying to keep it on the perimeter, bring it inside. There's nowhere to go with it. Now Yaz Rombeck tries to bring it in himself. Double team there by 2 guys. Looks like they're going to get Longino on the foul there.
And that's a good play there by Andy Yazrambek. Going into the contact, a nice job as he took it right to the hoop. May have had Jason Davis open in the corner for 3, but a good choice by Yazrambek as now he's at the line shooting 2.
Correction on the foul, that's number 21, Jack Hart. Yazrambek takes his 3rd free throw of the night. He's got his first one. We're going to get a substitution for the Student Princes, number 12, Derek Mason. He comes in for Mackey.
And Jacob Heidelberg early showing they're going to go right to their bench as they've already subbed in basically a new 5 in for Heidelberg.
Well, and I think, Elijah, as you said, this is the last game of the season for them. They're going to give some of their younger players a chance to play for once, get them some experience and confidence. Definitely something that if you're the Cardinals, especially that you've been looking at all season, we're going to get a foul on the floor. It's going to be a shooting foul.
And Jacob on that last play, nice penetration there by Cole Williams, and then a nice, very nice cut by Longino. But Cole Williams started that play off, made a nice penetration move and made a nice spin move and passed it right back over to Longino. Now he's at the line.
Longino, the junior out of Powell and Tangi Liberty, his first shot takes 2 or 3 lucky bounces, goes in. Longino, actually a former teammate of Andy Yazrambek and Jake Bischoff, in addition to Tommy Waterwash, recent graduate here. Chase Moyer will step into the game. Taking a seat is Jason Davis. His Longino takes his 2nd shot. Longino puts one up and he's got it. 10-9, 1-point game. Cardinals still on top by 1 with 14:39 and counting left here in the first half. As Rombeck trying to break that trap. Great speed by the Cardinals. Coming in is Bischoff on the right wing for McEwen. Nice fake there by Moyer for 3. Off the rim, rebounded by McEwen. He'll try to bring it back up himself. Great effort by Mark McEwen to get that 2nd effort basket.
And that's a nice job there by Mark McEwen. He did that against John Carroll too. He's done a good job offensive rebounding for the Otterbein Cardinals and playing down low. As you see right here, a nice job of bodying up and not allowing that easy basket.
Long 3-pointer there for Cole Williams. He drains that one.
Yeah, that was a nice shot there.
Basketball game up.
Nice in and out basketball there by the Heidelberg. And now Otterbein had to break this press. Jacob, they've done a good job all night. Let's see if they can continue.
Just now joining us, lots of back and forth basketball here. Both teams shooting the 3-pointer a lot, Elijah, but you know, contrary to what we're used to seeing, neither team really finding much success. Neither team really finding much success shooting that 3-pointer. And you know, we've seen a lot of back and forth action here, and that's what the game has consisted of for the most part.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. Both teams really started to struggle shooting the basketball from deep, and I think that's going to change throughout this game due to how much they're going to need to shoot the ball.
Moyer, top the key. Nearly lost the handle on it there, but keeps it alive. Now brings it inside the lane, fakes a shot, right wing for Bischoff. Bischoff nearly lost control of it. They're going to say he lost control, went off his hands.
And Jacob, right now Heidelberg with very good active hands there. Good job also by Derek Mason, and also by number 20, that's Mason Wilkie. That's a good job there by both those guys of using active hands and stripping those balls from Chase Moyer and Jake Bischoff.
Longino tries to pass it in. Student Princes try to work it around the perimeter. Long shot there by Weekly. As Bischoff tries to bring it down the other end. He's got Rhodes trying to finish for him. Rhodes was double teamed though, and he will go to the line as he tried to get that one up. A couple Student Princes though caught up to him.
And that's a nice run out there by Andy Yazrambek, who got the board. He found Jake Bischoff running down that floor, and then nice feed to Matt Rhodes, a streaking Matt Rhodes down the floor, and now he's at the line shooting 2. That foul also went on number 12. That's Derek Mason. That's going to be his first of the game, the team's 4th.
Rhodes' first shot is good, gives the Cardinals a 13-12 lead. 13-17 left here in the first half. not a whole lot of stoppages. That second one goes in and out, and Waldmanstetter will pick it up. Mason now across center court line on the wing for Longino. Back to Waldmanstetter. Off the rim, gets his own rebound, and he puts it in. Too easy for Doug Waldmanstetter. Meantime, the other one, we got odd man rush for the Cardinals. See, Bischoff hands it over to McEwen, who can't finish.
And that's a big miss there by McEwen. A nice pass by Jake Bischoff. A nice job by Otterbein in general, breaking that press.
And speaking of another three-pointer, Derek Mason's shot is an air ball as well. We get substitutions for both teams here, Elijah.
Substitutions, number 3, Mike Petrie. Number 11.
Yeah, and I don't think that's the shot that Heidelberg wanted from Derek Mason. Hasn't shot the ball well from deep this season. Don't know if they wanted that from him. But Otterbein having the trouble here getting the ball in. Just a little trapping Dean Smith. Full court press here by Heidelberg. But Otterbein doing a good job of breaking it here as Jason Davis brings it across the timeline.
Petrie showing lots of endurance and lots of speed, trying to keep Davis out of the center lane. But he tries to take it himself. Goes off his hands, and it's possession to the Student Princes. Or actually, hold on here.
It's going to go off of the Student Princes. It's going to be Otterbein basketball.
Wow. Tenacity and tenacity and determination there, Elijah. He has Ron back. He'll try to bring it on the right wing and get a moving pick here on John Jurgens.
Yeah, just
questioning that call there. Wasn't sure what he was, what he was doing wrong.
John Jurgens is trying to set a pick there on Marquise Taylor, and Taylor did a nice job of fighting through that screen and followed Chase Moyer all the way through. And a good job there by Taylor drawing the foul on Jurgens. It's going to be his first of the game.
Checking in for Otterbein, number 12, Christian Meister.
So Christian Meister now in the game as Andy Isrombach's going to take his first rest of the game.
Student Prince is back on top for the first time tonight. It's Cole Williams, right wing, left wing for three. No good. Rebounded by Waldmanstetter. Lost a handle though. And Christian Meister will take it across from Davis. Back to Meister now. Nice fake there on Derek Mason, and he drains it. What a move by Christian Meister.
Yeah, that's a big three there by Meister. Nice job of coming right off the bench and making an impact right away. And then you see the active hands of Chase Moyer. Jacob, this Otterbein bench is coming up big here so far, and it gives Otterbein a 2-point advantage. It's Cole Williams going to check out of the game, and back in is going to be Jackson Blue, who proved that he's very strong taking the ball to the basket. But this is the guy right here, Mackey, that Otterbein's had to keep an eye on.
Cardinals trying to keep Jackson Blue, trying to keep him from being isolated. As Taylor tries to bring it in, it's taken away there before it gets to the hoop by John Jurgens.
Big rebound there by Jurgens.
Cardinals working it around the perimeter. Just about 20 left on the shot clock. Right wing for Meister. Meister brings it in the center lane. He'll bring it back out for Davis. Davis now looks inside for Rhodes. Nice fake there on Jackson Blue. Tries to bring it in inside for Chase Moyer. Brings it up, and he gets the lucky bounce to put it in.
That's a nice move there by Moyer.
Now Petrie for three. That's off the backboard. Almost not even close.
And Heidelberg can't buy a basket right now. Jacob and Otterbein doing a good job defensively of just staying down and not going for the pump fakes and getting them out of their comfort zone right now.
Cardinals working it around the perimeter in the offensive zone here, as Davis will take it on the wing on the outside. Brings it center lane back for Chase Moyer. Moyer now for Meister. Meister. Blue tries to put some pressure on him, nearly gets a hand on it. That will result in a turnover for the Cardinals. Taylor left wing for Blue. Blue tries to drive it in himself. Trying to take advantage of that size. It's Waldmanstetter as well. Meanwhile, for three is Taylor. Rebounded there by Moyer. Great job there by Chase Moyer. Let's take it away from Jackson Blue. Definitely outsized there. Meister on the right wing. He'll hand it over for Rhodes. Just about at the halfway point here, the first half, as Jurgens puts one off the rim. Something that you got to have, Elijah, if you're John Jurgens. You can't miss those opportunities.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Jacob. That was a tough shot, though. Waldmanstetter did a good job of getting in front and using his body on that play. But Heidelberg's going to need to find a basket. Nice job by Matt Rhodes right now. There's a good double team as Jurgens came over.
Blue, he'll hand it off in the left wing for Waldmanstetter. He gets the easy jumper. And wide open is Waldmanstetter.
Waldmanstetter's quietly having a very good game for Heidelberg. He's done, not in the statistical categories, but he's done a good job of playing down low and getting the main plays for Heidelberg down low.
Oh, nice pass there by Davis. Tries to fight Jackson Blue is Matt Rhodes. Almost got the lucky roll for an old-fashioned three-point play, but he'll go to the line.
Nice pump fake there by Matt Rhodes. He got Jackson Blue up in the air. Exactly what you have to do with a guy that's as athletic as Jackson Blue. Good job by Matt Rhodes to draw the foul. That's going to be Blue's first foul of the game, excuse me. But Jacob, Otterbein right now doing a very good job for me offensively, being able to break the press and get that ball to set up their offense, and they're setting it up pretty deep down in Heidelberg's end, and a good job of getting as deep down to as close to the three-point line as they could to set up the offense, because the farther out you are, it really hurts your offense, and it helps a team like Heidelberg who puts a lot of pressure on the ball.
Speed is the key. Speed is the key, Elijah. As Rhodes' second shot is no good either.
And Chase Moyer, this is a matchup right here on Mackey that he's done an incredible job on, staying in front of Mackey a lot quicker than Moyer, but doing a good job on Mackey so far.
Meanwhile, long three-pointer there by the Student Princes. That one is no good. Jurgens nearly falls to the floor, tripped up by Waldmanstetter. Fans looking for a call, but they're not going to get it, but they will get Jackson Blue here on Yezrambak.
Good job by Yezrambak penetrating the baseline there and making a play, and now they're going to get a fresh shot clock as Grant Fenner, who's going to check back in the game, hasn't been back in the game since he took that long three that Coach Adrian must have pulled him for, but Matt Rhodes is going to take a seat for the Cardinals.
Fenner misses on that pass, mishandles it, and that's going to be possession to the Student Princes. Great pressure there by both forwards. That was Cole Williams on that, providing the pressure, and Mason Walecki.
Yeah, that was a good job there by Heidelberg, putting pressure on that out-of-bounds play, and Andy Yezrambak just didn't read that correctly. He had Chase Moyer open in the corner. However, Moyer's man went to double Fenner and try and get that pass. A nice job there by Heidelberg. And now we'll see if Jake Bischoff can shut down Mackey and do as good of a job as Moyer did here.
Bischoff, as we mentioned earlier, former teammate of current Heidelberg Student Princes junior Frank Longino. Student Princes trying to work it around the perimeter. Not really rushing anything right now, but Mackey tries to bring it in. Great individual effort there, and he makes it a one-point ball game. Speed really starting to catch up to the Cardinals right now.
And this is where
Heidelberg really taking advantage.
This is where Otterbeins going to need to get the ball across half court. Chase Moyer did a good job of running the show when he was in the game. However, Jake Bischoff's going to have to be the guy to go to. Oh, and that foul is going to go right against number 22 of Heidelberg. That's going to be Frank Longino.
Heidelberg fouls on number 22, Frank Longino. His first foul, team foul number 7.
It's going to be a 1-and-1 situation now for the Cardinals. That's going to be a foul here. It's going to be the first on Longino.
Number 34, Grant Fenner at the line, shooting 1-and-1.
Whereas most fans in the Rec Center here are familiar with the infamous 1-and-1 call. As that one is good, he'll get a second shot. Grant Fenner will. Fenner, one of the more impressive players, Elijah, as we mentioned, 6'5", 215 out of Shelby, Ohio.
And
one
Jacob,
of many freshmen.
Jacob, as poor as Heidelberg has shot the basketball, they're only down 3 in this game. So, that's something to look at if you're Heidelberg and say that could be a positive. And if you're Otterbein, you're going to have to find a way to score the basketball more. Even though you played very well up to this point, you're going to have to find a way to score the basketball better.
Nice jumper there by Mackey. Waldmanstetter nearly had a handle on it, but Bischoff gets his hand over to his teammate Yezrambak. Brings it in through traffic. They're going to say it went off Waldmanstetter.
Yeah, it was a nice play there by Heidelberg, not allowing Yezrambak, who likes to take it to the hoop. He's not much of a shooter. He likes to penetrate and kick. Good job of taking the ball out of his hands there.
Yezrambak one down, long pass for Fenner again. Nearly the same play as last time. He's going to get a foul as a result.
Yeah, the exact same play there as last time, Jacob, just to the other side. And Yazrambek couldn't get it to Fenner. And nice play by Cole Williams to chase that ball down and get the foul on Fenner. That's going to be his first of the game.
Inbounding here is Mackey. Mackey, nothing to do with it. Tries to bring it in for, looks like that's going to be Jack Hart. Williams now. Nearly lost a handle on that one. Trying to get a hand to it was Mark McEwen. Longino for three, air ball. That one just got off the hoop, but Jack Hart doesn't miss. And he puts it back in and makes this a one-point game yet again.
And Jacob, offensive rebounding has killed Otterbein this season, and right there is an example of why.
Oh, nice move there by Bischoff. No second effort there. Mark McEwen was unable to get a handle on it. Meanwhile, the student puts up numbers. Longino tries to take a pass from Mackey. It goes off the hands of Yazrambek. And coming back into the game is Matt Rhodes for Grant Fenner. 7:13 left here in the first half. 30 seconds left on the shot clock as Longino will try to play top of the key. Mackey now takes his time with it. No rush for him. Looks to have a set pick there by Jack Hart. Williams now. He'll try to do a little shimmy shake there around Yazrambek. Tries to bring it in himself off the rim. Great second effort there by the Cardinals, and Matt Rhodes will come away with it. In transition are the Cardinals with Jason Davis. Meanwhile for Rhodes. Rhodes brings it inside the lane. Outside Yazrambek. Little head fake there. He'll hand it off to McEwen. Up and inside. That one goes off the hands, but it's kept alive by McEwen. Yazrambek now defended there by two guys. And that's where, Elijah, if you're the Cardinals, you've got to have numbers down low when you create a turnover like that.
No, I mean, Jacob, you're right, but I think that Otterbein, I think Yazrambek should have taken that three from the corner, and if he didn't have it, should have kicked it right back to Matt Rhodes, who was wide open for another three. So really, Jacob, it kind of came down to the shot they didn't take as opposed to the shot they did take and didn't have rebounding down low. But, substitution is Derek Mason back into the game for Heidelberg as he brings it across the court.
Deontay Holder back on the floor, as well as Mike Petrie. Petrie, nice head fake there. He'll hand it off to Williams. Williams tries to drive against Matt Rhodes. Great rebound there by Jake Bischoff. Bischoff in transition with the Cardinals. He's got numbers with him. He'll hand it off to Yazrambek. Inside for Rhodes. Rhodes tightly defended there by Derek Mason, and it's taken away as a result.
Nice play there by Mason, getting his hands in. Again, active hands, Jacob, is what Heidelberg has done very well in this game.
Petrie, lots of speed, but Jake Bischoff will come away with it. He's got Mason and Petrie trying to catch up to him. One of them's going to draw the foul, and Bischoff will go to the line.
Good job there by Jake Bischoff of just taking it strong to the hoop. He was grabbed basically the whole way, but a good job there by Jake Bischoff. It's going to be Derek Mason's second foul of the game and the team's 8th of the half. So Heidelberg already up in the foul count. Otterbein only 2 fouls away, Jacob, from being in the double bonus.
Bischoff shooting 2, as that one was a shooting foul. Cardinals haven't reached the double bonus yet. He makes that one. That'll make it 22. He'll look to make it a 3-point lead for the Cardinals. 5:45 left here in the first half, and he's got it. Chase Moyer comes back onto the court meanwhile for the Cardinals, as does Jason Davis and Christian Meister. As Yazrambek and Bischoff will take a seat. As Williams, he'll bring it in slowly. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. He'll hand it off to Mason. Tries to hand it off inside for Hart. Hart tries to go up against McEwen. Looks like McEwen's going to get the foul there. And Hart will go to the line.
And Jack Hart has come in and done a very good job off the bench, Jacob. He's done an incredible job. For Heidelberg down low, he's got a couple of offensive rebounds, a couple of garbage baskets, but he's done a very good job of really bodying up with Mark McEwen down low.
Jack Hart, not a guy that's taken a whole lot of these, Elijah, only 9 of 12. Not something he's used to seeing. He's not used to seeing that action down low, but he gets it, makes his 10th right there. Longino back onto the floor for Williams. And as was John Juergens for the Cardinals, as Mark McCune will take a seat on the bench.
And you know, one guy, Jacob, that we haven't seen in this game at all is Jake Phillips. He has not he's not been put off the bench yet by Coach Adrian, so I don't know if they're trying to rest him or what, but Jake Phillips has not entered this game and been one of the leading scorers, second leading scorer for the Otterbein Cardinals.
Looks like we get an official's timeout on the court here as Longino is going to take a seat. Looks like he's cut. But you made an excellent point there, Elijah. Phillips, a guy who's made a name for himself a lot this season. Not seen a whole lot of action, and I think, let me know if you agree with me on this one. Is it because of the tournament? Are you trying to say, if you're Coach Adrian, do you save some of your best players for the tournament?
No.
Jake Phillips has proven that he's that this year.
No, you don't. I think that, I don't know what the reasoning is, but I don't think you do that. I think you got to keep them fresh, but he still has to be out there, Jacob. I don't think it has anything to do with the tournament.
Waldmanstetter back on the floor for Heidelberg as Meister will try to break that press with Jason Davis working together. Davis tightly defended there by Derek Mason and Petrie. Petrie trying to cheat up as well. Davis with determination and speed tries to bring it inside the lane. He'll take his time and bring it back out. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. He tries to drive in. He'll hand it off for Moyer instead. Moyer top of the key. Longino tries to put some pressure on him, but Meister comes away with it. Meister now down low for Juergens. Juergens tries to go up against Waldmanstetter, and he's got it. Great feed there by Christian Meister to John Juergens.
Nice little pick and roll there. They switched the pick and roll. John Juergens realized it, slipped it, and went right to the basket. Nice pass there by Meister.
Waldmanstetter tries to go up against Juergens. Too easy for him.
It's a nice move there by
24.
Nice move there by Waldmanstetter, taking it right at John Juergens and using that baby hook very nicely.
Longino providing heavy pressure against Chase Moyer, but for threes, Matt Rhodes rebounded there by Juergens. Great second effort there. Rhodes tries to drive to the hoop himself, and he's got it. Timeout on the floor now, finally, as the Student Princes will try and look to rally their troops.
And Coach Andy Butchlet in his first season not happy with the Student Princes on that possession. Good penetration by Matt Rhodes. Nice move to the basket and puts it up with his left hand. Good job by Matt Rhodes and Otterbein. Only with a three-point advantage, Jacob, but I think that the Cardinals are playing very terrific basketball right now. They're really moving the ball well offensively. They've had some good opportunities down low, but I think, again, like I've stated before, the three-point shooting is what's going to be key for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals with the lead right now and shot the ball better from deep to begin this game.
Yeah, really, Elijah, if you look at it, I don't know where this game would be. You know, we saw a lot of transition early on, but a lot of missed field goals. And that is something that, if you're the Cardinals, you got to be thankful for, that Heidelberg missed those shots. And they really weren't open shots either. You know, credit to the Cardinals. They're shutting down the shooting lanes. They're getting in the way as Derek Mason will bring it back in play for the Student Princes. Taylor now try to hand it off inside left side of the hoop for Waldmanstetter. Looks like somebody got an extra arm on him.
And looks like Juergens down low got a little too much with the body. I don't like that foul, Jacob. I don't think it was a foul. However, the NCAA has really tightened up their fouls here in this season, as both teams have 18 fouls, Jacob, if that says anything. It was still with 4 minutes to go in the first half, so at this rate, both teams will be in the double bonus before the half is over. But Waldmanstetter, he's going to get his first to go. But Jacob, the NCAA has tightened up for me too much with the fouls. They really called too many for me.
We get some we got some vocal fans behind us here, Elijah, trying to encourage the home team a little bit and try to discourage the Student Princes from the free throw line a little bit.
And Brian McKenzie, who got a lot of playing time at John Carroll because Matt Rhodes did not come into that game until late in the first half. He's into the game now, so we'll see if he can make an impact as well.
McKenzie, one of the guys you mentioned, Elijah, you and I had the call against Wilmington. Something that we saw a lot of was him. He put up 10 points in that game, despite not coming in until late in the second half. Some guy you want to watch. Yet another future building block for this Cardinals team. Davis now defended by Longino. He'll hand it over to McKenzie. 20 seconds left on the shot clock as Meister has it on the near side. Meister has tried, as McKenzie tries to set a pick for him. Meanwhile, McKenzie wide open for three. That one is blocked by Waldmanstetter. Second effort there by Matt Rhodes is good, though. You can thank Matt Rhodes for that one if you're Brian McKenzie, as it's 29-26. Cardinals regain that three-point lead.
Yeah, nice job there by Matt Rhodes, being aware of where the ball was. Nice little fadeaway jumper. He's got Otterbein in the exact position they want to be right now.
Great hands there by Christian Meister. That one will go out of bounds possession to the Student Princes, but great second effort there as he tries to create the turnover.
Yeah, nice play there by Meister, as you said. Got his hands in there, but Matt Rhodes caused that turnover to begin with that double team. Made Waldmanstetter pick up the ball. But Jacob Otterbein's done a very good job of containing Keith Mackey. They've done a good job today of doing that. He had 25 in the last meeting, and right now he's really only had one bucket.
We get a long three-pointer, though, attempted by the Student Princes. That's Mason Willicke. Easily rebounded by the Cardinals yet again. None the worse for wear. They'll come with it across center court line. There's Rombach Hill taken on the far side. Screen set there by Matt Rhodes, but Longino tries to stay in pursuit of him. Meanwhile, left wing for Matt Rhodes. And he's got it, 31-26, five-point lead. One of the largest leads that the Cardinals have seen all game.
Nice little move in the short corner there by Matt Rhodes. Got himself open and got the shot right over Waldmanstetter.
Looks like Taylor's going to earn a free throw trip to the free throw line here for 1-1. Meister got a little extra hand on him.
And too much body there from Christian Meister. Didn't do a good job on that possession of keeping Taylor in front of him, and the quicker Taylor got right by him. Christian Meister probably should give him a little more of a gap. Taylor really hasn't proven to be that good of an outside shooter.
So that one is good for Taylor. That is the 9th foul of this evening and of the half for the Cardinals. First for Meister with 2:28 left here in the half. As that little miscue from the crowd, obviously not working there for Taylor. He puts it in. He gets 2 of 2. As Cole Williams is back on the floor for Heidelberg. Pressure being put on there by Taylor. He has Rombach trying to find somebody to go with, and it's Bischoff with speed. He's got numbers. Over to McKenzie, and he finishes. No problem there.
It's a nice finish there by Brian McKenzie with the left hand, and an even better pass there by Jake Bischoff, who penetrated in the gap.
As the Student Princes try to work it around the perimeter. Another three-pointer attempted there by Taylor. Mackey tried to poke it out of Bischoff's hands. It looks like he got an extra arm on him. They'll call the foul on Mackey. Bischoff will go to the line and shoot 1-1.
And you know, Jacob, I don't know about that foul. Mackey looked like he got the ball in there. However, the referees thought otherwise. And Otterbein is at the line shooting 1-1 still. One more foul. And then
Bischoff
they'll be in the
coming
double
in
bonus.
today, shooting 64 of 74, 86.5%. As we mentioned earlier, this kid can spread it around pretty much wherever you want him to go. As he makes both of them. 34-28, Cardinals on top with 2:06 left here in the first half. Davis will come in for Yaz Rombach.
Jason Davis had a strong game so far for the Cardinals. He's done a good job of handling the pressure that Heidelberg's thrown at him, and he's done a good job being a senior leader out there on the floor tonight.
Heidelberg trying to work it here on the near side. They'll try to bring it in. They'll try to get it on the perimeter first. Elijah, one guy we have not seen a whole lot of as Mackey puts up an easy jumper. Elijah, one guy we have not seen a whole lot of, though, since early on, is Jackson Blue. So the Cardinals haven't had to put up with that size a whole lot as much as they would expect to.
Yeah, Blue on the bench with 2 fouls, Jacob, and that's hurt Heidelberg here early on. But still, defensively, they've done a good job, as you see here, sitting down, making Otterbein play the full 35 on the shot clock.
Meister far near side for 3, off the rim. McKenzie couldn't get to the rebound. As Keith Mackey will bring it in with speed. And it's picked off there by Christian Meister. Breaking on in. Waldmanstetter tries to go up against him. Nice pass there from McKenzie. All alone, and he puts it in. Great pass there by Meister. What a play.
Yeah, nice play there by Christian Meister. Instead of going up, he knew the bigger Waldmanstetter was going to come try and block that shot. Nice little wraparound pass right to McKenzie.
Less than a minute left here in the first half. 50 seconds and the shot clock down to 20 for the Student Princes. It's Waldmanstetter defended there by McKenzie. It's nearly taken away by Meister. McKenzie tries to get a handle on it, and he does. Davis will come away with it. About a 3-second difference in between the game clock and the shot clock, and Bischoff will set it up. He'll take his time with it. Cardinals trying to look and get off a late shot here. Try to get some momentum going into the second half. He's waiting for somebody that's trying to come up there as McKenzie will try and set a pick for him against Taylor. Right wing for Davis. 5 on the shot clock. Davis tries to put it up off the rim. That's rebounded there by the Student Princes. In transition the other way is Willicke. Tries to bring it up for Taylor.
And that was a
Taylor
good job.
fouled on the play. Looks like he took a hand to the face.
Good job
He's down
there
temporarily.
Good job there by Taylor, streaking right to the basket. However, Brian McKenzie putting his body first and drew the block. However, a good job by McKenzie. Could have been a charge. But nonetheless, Taylor's gonna hit the line with 1.4 seconds to go here in the first half. And Jacob Otterbein, this is gonna be big if they can come out with a lead here at the end of this first half.
Taylor drains his first shot, no problem for him, as Longino will come in for Waldmanstetter. Really trying to figure out, though, if what they're doing with that is the Cardinals with 1.4 seconds left. If you're Ty Adrian, go for the last shot to get some momentum. So they will look to do that here. Matt Rhodes trying to find somebody to hand it to. Long lead pass here from Meister. McKenzie at the buzzer. Oh! They don't get much closer than that. McKenzie nearly had no time with it. That's the end of the first half. 37-32, Cardinals on top. We'll be back later on in the half during halftime with some statistics. Here, keep it locked here on OTV.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at nationalguard.com.
At what age is the color that your skin was meant to be no longer beautiful? Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they'd die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and 1 person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Where do you think you're going?
Is your body holding you back?
I want to go running. Not with that knee, you're not. I'm fine. Negative.
Your bones and joints can say no at any age.
With that shoulder, you're going to pick up that track. Really?
Keeping you from working, playing, or just plain moving.
Let's not pick her up. What do you say?
Yet a lot of people who live with pain fight back.
Use your head. Save your back. My bride, my rules.
And regain their lives.
You gotta be kidding me.
Whoa. I'm going running. I'm going running.
Got to see this. Come on, pick it up.
Fight for your mobility. Find your own inspiration at anationinmotion.org. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Come on. I'll take it from here.
as much as I do. It must be love, love, love. It must be love, love, love. Nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best.
It must be love. It must be hospice.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Help support the Breast Cancer Patient Education Act, a bill that will help make sure women facing a mastectomy are told all their options about breast reconstruction. Visit broaddayusa.org for more information.
When doctors told me I would never walk again, somehow I knew I would. Whether you need support in a tragedy or just to make it through a bad day, prayer can make a difference. America, let's come together by believing with each other.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
The American dream need not forever be deferred.
It's the richest and the most powerful country.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. Follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how.
OTV's coverage here of the Otterbein Cardinals taking on the Heidelberg Student Princes. I am Elijah Gonzalez here along with Jacob Barker, and we're going to have some halftime statistics for you. First, we're going to start off with the Heidelberg Student Princes. They're shooting from the field. They're shooting 28% from three-point land. They are 2 for 14, and they're shooting 14% from the three-point land. From the free throw line, however, they're 12 for 12, so good percentage early on from the free throw line. Also, Jackson Blue, he has 2 points. However, the leading scorer for the Student Princes is Waldman Setter. He has 10 points for the Student Princes. And for Otterbein, Jacob, the leading scorer right now for the Otterbein Cardinals is the big presence of Matt Rhodes. He has 10 points, and the Otterbein Cardinals, Jacob, they're shooting the ball only 38% from the floor, and really not much better from the three-point line. They're shooting only 16% from the three-point line. However, the only difference between them and Heidelberg is the fact that Otterbein is not shooting 100% from the free throw line. They're shooting 85% from the foul line. So, Jacob, as we look at a preview of the second half, you know, what do you think that Otterbein needs to do to keep this 5-point lead of 37-32 at half?
I really think that you really need to watch out for Heidelberg to come back with a little bit of vengeance in the second half. This is going to be their last half of the season. They know it now. They know what it's going to be. They know what they're up against. Meanwhile, I think if you're Otterbein, I think you just need to keep playing your game. And I think you need to force the Student Princes to really, mimic what you're trying to do. Like I said early on, it's going to be a high-scoring game no matter what. It's going to be a lot of back-and-forth play. We're going to continue to see that in the second half. The Cardinals are looking for momentum for the OAC tournament. They know that they know that they're already in, but they have to play for momentum.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And Jacob, during the break, I found out that Jake Phillips, he's been sick this week, so that could be a reason of why he's not playing. However, we'll have to talk with Coach Adrian after this game later on in the week about the reasons of why Jake Phillips has not been on the floor in this basketball game. And Jacob, really, their guard play has kind of taken a little hit from that. Bischoff really hasn't been as effective at the guard position playing today. He has not had as great of a game as we've seen that Jake Bischoff of the past have, and I think Jake Phillips not being there has really hurt the guard play of the Cardinals. However, Jason Davis has stepped up.
It has hurt him a little bit, but like you said, that's where Jason Davis comes in. That's where his senior leadership comes into play. He's been on this team longer than anybody else has by far, so I think you have to be able to lean on him for leadership capabilities. Andy Ezra-Back is another guy as well. He's kind of taken on a different role this season after being predominantly a shooting player last year. He's really transitioned into much more of a playmaking kind of player and much more of a vocal leader in the locker room as one of the captains on this team.
And here at halftime, as they are doing the senior presentations they just did the Otterbein cheerleaders, and now they are on to the dance team, and we see Jacob, the Heidelberg Student Princes, sitting and stretching over to our right. And Jacob, Heidelberg in this game has shot the ball very poorly, but you look at Otterbein, and they have not shot the ball much better. Otterbein has shot the ball again. They're shooting 37%. Heidelberg only shooting 28%. But really, if you look at Heidelberg, one guy that needs to start making an impact if you're Heidelberg is Keith Mackey. He hasn't really been a factor here in this basketball game, and he's proven that Otterbein has done a good job of shutting him down. I think Chase Moyer, when he came into this basketball game, he did an incredible job of shutting down Keith Mackey. And then on the other side of the basketball, you look at Otterbein, and if Jake Phillips does not come into this basketball game, I think that you look, and the next guy that really has to step up is going to have to be Bischoff. I think Rhodes has done his duties. He's going to have to continue those 10 points. If he had 10 points in this half, he'll finish with 20. But you look at this Otterbein team, and I think Jake Bischoff is really the guy that you got to see step up in the second half.
You really want to see him step up, but at the same time, this is a very deep Cardinal team. Very young, but very deep. They've been able to put Brian McKenzie and Christian Meister and get them ample playing time, in addition to Mark McEwen, Matt Rhodes, Grant Fenner, their usual players. So I really think it all comes down to coming together as a team. I think you just have to be, you really just have to be able to do that. You know, good teams find ways to win.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
Have a lot of depth. And for the Cardinals, they need to prove that.
You're definitely right, Jacob. But, you know, Otterbein has proven that throughout the rest of this end part of the season, they've had some depth in their arsenal. However, really, as Coach Adrian said earlier on in the season, is that he wants to be able to go 12 guys deep, and really, he hasn't been able to do that for much of the season. And now, with guys like Christian Meister and Brian McKenzie starting to step up and play their roles that Coach Adrian basically wanted them to play, 2 years down the line, Coach Adrian really had to put them in before he wanted. But Otterbein has done a good job with what they have of using the depth that they can. But you look over on the Heidelberg side, you know, really, Jacob, a meaningless game for the Student Princes. They're already out of contention for the OAC tournament. So those guys down there, Keith Mackey's going to be his last game of the season. So, you know, if you look at Heidelberg, they're going to want to win this game just as much as Otterbein. So we should have a great finish, as it's only a 5-point game here at halftime, as we mentioned. 37-32, the Otterbein Cardinals ahead of the Heidelberg Student Princes. But Jacob, another thing that I look at right now for Otterbein has really been the rebounding. They had given up 4 offensive rebounds. However, Otterbein has had 6 offensive rebounds, and they're really out-rebounding the Student Princes, and that's something they're going to have to continue in the second half.
I think when you've been watching this team rebound offensively, both offensively and defensively, it's not just one player going for the ball. We've always been seeing throughout the game, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys going for that loose ball, trying to hand it off to one another, and you love to see that as a head coach.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. And another guy, Jacob, that we haven't seen in this game that has played in recent games is Antonio Basutti. So don't know if Coach Adrian just doesn't have him like the way he's been playing, or if he just doesn't have him in the game for other reasons. But, you know, another question that'll come up when Coach Adrian is talked to this week. But again, if you want to catch the Ohio Athletic Conference tournament basketball game, you can catch it on WOBN as David Kinder and John Bazika will travel up to wherever. We don't know as of yet. We'll find out on Monday. Actually, we'll find out hopefully tomorrow where Otterbein will be playing on Tuesday and at what time. So make sure you keep it locked on OTV as well as WOBN's Twitters as we find out where Otterbein will be going to and where they will be playing. But about 1 minute and 40 seconds here until the second half gets ready to go. And Jacob, as Otterbein warms up, again, I just want to reiterate how impressed I've been with Chase Moyer and the way he's played on Keith Mackey today.
You know, Chase Moyer is one of those guys, you know, coming into the season, you know, I got a chance to get to know him through some of my other buddies, through some of my other fraternity brothers. You know, we were trying to befriend him a little bit. And the one thing they knew when they got to play pickup basketball against this guy in the preseason, he is a guy that gets you fired up. He is a guy that loves to get it going. He loves to talk to his teammates. He loves to get under the skin of his opponents and do whatever he can to get them off their game. It's evidenced by that. You know, you look at Keith Mackey's stat line, He's got 4 total points. This just, you know, after the last matchup, dropping 25 on this Cardinals team. So it's pretty clear that he has made his presence known in that aspect.
And Jacob, as the Otterbein Cardinals come out of their huddle, Heidelberg's still in their huddle. About 30 seconds here until the second half begins. Here at the Reich Center, I'm Elijah Gonzalez along with Jacob Barker. This will be the final basketball game of the season on the Otterbein TV, as me and Jacob Barker have the call. Jacob Barker and I have the call for the final game here on OTV. And we are just awaiting the second half to get underway. Here as Heidelberg down by 5 to the Otterbein Cardinals, who have clinched the spot, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, to the OAC tournament. So Otterbein season will continue after tonight. It was unsure coming in if they were going to have to win tonight, but we have found out from the Sports Information Department that they are in fact in the OAC tournament. So Otterbein will be in and will be playing in that A spot in the OAC tournament.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. You know, it kind of actually reminds me, Elijah, 2 years ago when the Bengals were trying to clinch a playoff spot, you know, after being non-favorites. They had lost. Everybody's thinking, oh, this is it. Well, they were already in.
And now the ball is inbounded to begin the second half as Jason Davis brings it across the timeline. He gives the ball to Fenner. Fenner swings it over to Yaz Rombach. Yaz Rombach with it on the wing. He's looking to penetrate. Kicks it out. It's Fenner for 3. And it goes in and out. Heidelberg with the rebound and pushing in transition. Yaz Rombach, a nice back tap, but it's going to be go off Yaz Rombach. He took that one away from Mike Petrie, but Petrie will inbound for the Student Princess. The inbound goes to Mackey, who's going to set up the offense here for the Princes. He swings it over. Now they go inside to Blue. Blue, he kicks it back out. They swing it around, and it's Mackey. He's going to put up a jumper, and it's good. A nice fadeaway jumper there from Mackey. And it's now a 3-point basketball game and a full court press on here for the Student Princes. They get it up to Yaz Rombach, who's pushing in transition. He has a fast break, and the ball is taken away from him, but a foul's called. And that's going to go on Mackey. That's going to be the first of the half. And that's going to be his second foul of the game. So inbounding will be the Cardinals on the baseline. It's going to be Jason Davis inbounding for the Cardinals. And they inbound it in the corner to Bischoff, who's going to dribble it out, get the offense set here for the Cardinals. Screen from Juergens. Bischoff fakes the shot and gives to Davis. Davis now gets a screen from Fenner. Davis goes inside to Juergens. Juergens goes up and puts it in. Big shot there by John Juergens. Nice move to the basket. And a nice pass from Jason Davis. And Otterbein back with a 5-point advantage.
Yeah, great job by Juergens trying to elude Doug Waldmanstetter. Waldmanstetter was all over him, trying to wander all over the court. Juergens finds an open lane, back door.
And now it's Mackey on the wing. He's looking around. He swings it back to Petrie at the top. Petrie asking for a screen from Blue. He penetrates, and a nice block there by John Juergens. And still 10 seconds on the shot clock. Taylor puts it up with the left hand and puts it in. Big shot there by Marquise Taylor. And a foul's going to be called on the Cardinals, as Taylor's going to go to the line and shoot one, as that's going to be the first of the half, but the third on John Juergens. So Juergens getting into some foul trouble here. Taylor at the line. It's a 3-point basketball game. Taylor trying to make it a 2-point game, and he puts it in, and it's a 2-point game. Jason Davis runs to get the ball now, as he is going to inbound for the Cardinals. Davis gets it into Bischoff. Bischoff swings it over to Davis. Guarded tightly by Petrie. A trap coming. Davis gets it down to Fenner. Fenner going to go up, and he dunks it home. Fenner flushes it down. And a big flush there by Grant Fenner, and Otterbein with a 4-point advantage.
That kid is a freshman, and he's slam dunking, Elijah. Wow.
And Waldman Setter puts it in for Heidelberg, and it's back to a 2-point game. Here's Jason Davis now. He gets the ball across the timeline, gives to Fenner over on the wing, but it's taken away by Taylor on the cross-court pass. Now pushing in transitions, Heidelberg. Waldman Setter goes up and puts it in. It's a tied basketball game. 41-41, 17-36 and counting here in this basketball game. Bischoff trying to bring it across the timeline on a double team. Gives it to Yezrambek. Yezrambek now with it on the wing, setting up the offense for the Cardinals. Yezrambek penetrates, kicks it out. It's Bischoff. Bischoff pump fakes a couple of times, puts up a three from the corner. It's off the front rim. And now it's Taylor with the rebound. He gives it over to Petrie. Petrie looking to penetrate, kicks it out. Waldman center, slings it over to Mackey. Mackey now with it at the top of the key. Mackey going to set up the offense for Heidelberg. Gives it over to Taylor. Taylor looking to penetrate. Goes up, and a foul is going to be called on John Juergens, it looks like. Taylor's going to go to the line. And they are going to call it on John Juergens, so that's John Juergens' fourth foul in the basketball game.
That's his fourth foul, team second.
And that's going to be the team's second. Yeah, so fourth foul for John Juergens. He's had to come out of the game and probably not come back in until about the 5-minute mark. However, Jake Phillips making his first appearance in this basketball game. Surprising he wasn't in the first half, but Jake Phillips making his first appearance in this basketball game, as well as Matt Rhodes and Mark McEwen coming into the basketball game. Grant Fenner, Andy Yezrambek, and John Juergens have taken a rest. And they're going to call it was on the floor. So Taylor wanted it to be a shooting foul, however it's not. Now it's Blue. He goes inside to Waldman Center. Waldman Center goes inside to Blue now, and Blue is going to be going up. So they're going to call that it's a shooting foul. Foul's going to go against Jake Phillips as he gets his first action here tonight. 41-41, 16:48 to go. First foul on Jake Phillips. Third team foul of the half. Jackson Blue at the line.
It's a great second effort there by Jackson Blue to get to that hoop. He's been standing there all game long every time he's been in, trying to drive it to the net. Hasn't had much success. Hasn't seen a whole lot of minutes either. Only 7 minutes in him for the first half for Jackson Blue.
So Jackson Blue knocks down the first and gives Heidelberg the lead. First time in a while Heidelberg's had the lead in this basketball game. Blue lines up the second. It's no good, but he gets his own rebound, gets to it, a scrum for it, and it's a timeout called by Heidelberg. So a good job by Jackson Blue being aware that there might have been a jump ball, but Blue gets the timeout.
I think, in Elijah, that kind of looked like an intentional shot there. You know, trying to get it off the rim. Because once it,
you know, I don't think it was intentional, but I think that once he missed it, he realized that no one blocked him out at the free throw line, and he went in and got that ball. But I don't think it was intentional. I don't think he was missing it on purpose. No reason to do that there. But 42-41. Heidelberg with a 1-point lead here in this basketball game. And Jacob, you thought the flush from Grant Fenner might ignite this crowd a little bit, but still pretty dull crowd here. Is a nice turnout at the Reich Center here on senior night, but still not a lot of energy here in this crowd.
And I think it's gonna come on this next possession for the Cardinals. You know, slam dunks like that really have a knack of getting your team a little bit excited. And, you know, once things continue to go your way, that's where it really starts to have an impact.
Head coach Todd Adrian in his second season with the Cardinals. Two young coaching staffs here, both for Otterbein and Heidelberg. As we mentioned, Todd Adrian in his second season as head coach of the Otterbein Cardinals, as well as Andy Butchlet, his first season over at Heidelberg. So two young coaches and two very young and talented teams. Both these teams looking to hopefully be the future of the OAC. However, the ball has been inbounded now, and Heidelberg has possession. It's Mackey. Mackey pulling a three from the top of the key. It's off the front iron, and the rebound is battled for. Blue scrambles for it and gets it to Taylor. Nice diving play by Blue to save the possession. Now it's Petrie. Petrie pump fakes. He's going to pull up a jumper from the elbow, and it goes in and out. Jason Davis hustles to that. Going to bring the ball up for the Cardinals. Davis gets a screen from Rhodes. Gives it over to Phyllis. Phyllis with it. Phyllis hands off to Bischoff on the wing. Bischoff, screen from McEwen. Kicks it over to Phyllis. Phyllis going to penetrate on the right baseline. Kicks it out to Davis for three. Got it. Jason Davis. Jason Davis knocks down a three. His second three-pointer of the game, and it's 44-42. The Otterbein Cardinals with the lead.
Great play there by Jake Phillips to cut to the basket, get underneath. isolating Matt Rhodes and getting him wide open.
Mackey now with it. Gives it, fakes to give it to Taylor, still has the ball. Mackey goes inside to Blue. Blue looking to post up on Rhodes, a double team comes. Waldman setter, puts it up from the elbow and no good, but Mackey tried to tip it in, can't get it to go, but gets his own rebound. Mackey now gets it. Looking inside, goes to Blue now. Blue looking to go inside, he kicks it out as Petrie. Petrie penetrates in the lane, puts it up and in. Nice shot there by Mike Petrie. And it's tied at 44. Phyllis now pushing the ball in transition for the Cardinals. Phyllis kicks it out to Rhodes for three from the court, from the wing, knocks it down. Matt Rhodes, a big three-pointer there for the Cardinals.
Same place last time, opposite side of the court though.
47-44. Petrie gonna pull a three from the top of the key, it goes in and out. Phyllis now with it, and he's looking to push for the Cardinals, but he's gonna slow it down and set up the offense. So a quick couple of possessions for both teams. Rhodes gonna pull a three from the wing, it's good! Matt Rhodes knocks down a three, and it's a 6-point lead for the Cardinals.
It's a three-point love fest out there, Elijah. The Cardinals just finding their rhythm. Jake Phyllis, I think it's pretty clear now that he has electrified this team on the court.
Now it's Mackey looking to penetrate on the left side of the hoop, brings it to the right, now gets it to Waldman Setter. Waldman Setter double dribbled, and Otterbein regains possession. And now into the game for the first time also is going to be Antonio Basutti, who will enter for the Cardinals, as well as Christian Meister, who became a spark off the bench for the Cardinals in that first half. And inbounding for the Cardinals is going to be number 33, Basutti. Basutti inbounds to Phyllis. Phyllis looking to bring the ball across the timeline. He's guarded tightly by Wilkie. They give it over to Meister, who gives to Basutti. Basutti now with it, looking for a screen. He gets one from McEwen. Gives it over to McEwen now, who swings to Meister. Meister on the wing, puts up a jumper now in the lane and gets it to go. A nice shot there by Christian Meister. An 8-point game now, Cardinals with the lead.
Great individual effort there by Meister to get to the basket. He saw he had nobody open, but he created his own space. Got extra springs in his feet. Puts it in.
Wilkie swings it over now. Here's a three on the way from Heidelberg. It's no good. That three was shot by Williams. Wilkie goes inside. They kick it out. Longino puts up a three. It's off the front iron. Meister with the rebound and now pushing. Meister tried to get it to Basutti. Taken away by Heidelberg. Mackey the other way now. Mackey goes up with the right hand. It's no good. No foul called as Mackey goes stumbling into the crowd. Now pushing is Basutti. Basutti to Meister. Meister swings it to Rhodes. A three from the wing. Got it. Matt Rhodes knocks down the three, and it's an 11-point game for the Cardinals.
That's 4 consecutive three-pointers for the Cardinals, Elijah.
Mackey brings it across the timeline, gives it to Williams. Williams now with it. Looking for Wilkie, and it's stripped away by Phyllis. Phyllis pushing up ahead to Basutti. Basutti gives to streaking Rhodes down the lane, and a travel is called on Matt Rhodes.
Matt Rhodes, and you can kind of tell the reaction from the crowd. You know, they wanted that one back. Matt Rhodes took one too many steps trying to lay it in there. It's a common mistake if you're a basketball player, Elijah. I think if, you know, you played in high school, you know, those kinds of stutter steps when you get that close to the basket, you want to do everything you can to put it in.
Now Basutti guarding number 12, Derek Mason, as he's just checked into the game. Ball taken away now by Matt Rhodes. Tip back by Heidelberg, but they're going to call over and back on the Student Princes. So Otterbein will have the possession as the ball's going to go back in the hands of the Cardinals. 12:27 to go here. 11-point basketball game, 55-44. Matt Rhodes has started to get hot here in the second half and has come up big for the Cardinals. Now it's Basutti. He's going to be trapped here. Gives it over to McEwen. McEwen swings to the corner to Meister. Meister fakes the shot, gives it to Rhodes now in the corner. Rhodes pump fakes, penetrates, puts it up with the left. It's blocked by Hart, but the rebound goes to Otterbein. Meister tries to kick it out to Rhodes, but it was taken away by Hart. And now Petrie will start the offense here for the Student Princes as he brings it across the timeline. Here's Petrie with it. Petrie brings it back over to Williams on the wing. Williams looks to penetrate. He goes up into Rhodes. He's fouled, and it goes in and out. 55-44, and Cole Williams is at the line for the Student Princes. So Matt Rhodes gets his second foul, the team fourth of the half, and Cole Williams at the line for the Student Princes. Jason Davis set to check in for Otterbein. Shot is up and good by Williams. And Phyllis to check out. Davis is in. Also checking out is going to be Meister as Chase Moyer is checked back into the game for the Cardinals. And Williams knocks down the second. So 55-46, a 9-point advantage here for the Cardinals. Matt Rhodes, he gets the ball on a baseball pass from Basutti. Now it goes back to McEwen, who lost it. A scramble for the basketball, gives it to Basutti, and a timeout is called by head coach Todd Adrian as he saw his team scrambling for that basketball.
Yeah, it's a great, smart play by Coach Todd Adrian, after Matt Rhodes was trying to dive for it. Settle things down a little bit. The Student Princes are really trying to scramble all over that court now, trying to figure out the perfect play to shut down this Otterbein team, who has all of a sudden become hot from behind the three-point arc. You can tell it, you can see it in their defensive scheme. Wherever there's a possibility for a three-point shot, guys like Longino are coming out and trying to shut down those lanes.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Jacob. 11:45 to go. Otterbein with a 9-point advantage here over the Heidelberg Student Princes. And Jacob, we can't stress enough of how Matt Rhodes has come alive here in this second half.
Matt Rhodes has just been, he's one of those guys that when he gets on his game, as we mentioned earlier, coming into the pregame show, he is a guy that when he's given time behind that arc, let alone anywhere on the court, he's got the determination it takes to put that basketball in the hoop. 11:45 left here in the second half. 55-46, Cardinals still on top. Elijah, one thing I'm noticing from this Cardinal team is that, I had said after Grant Fenner's dunk that he had, Heidelberg responded very quickly. They tied the ball game up. They got a 1-point lead, but then I said, it's going to be up to Otterbein to determine what happens on this next possession. If they get the ball in the basket the next possession, this could shift the momentum even further. And it certainly has here.
And now the inbound goes to Basutti as the Cardinals begin their offensive possession here. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Basutti on the wing with it. Basutti looking to penetrate. He kicks it out to McEwen. McEwen fakes a three and gives it over to Rhodes. Rhodes kicks it over to Basutti. 9 seconds on the shot clock. They swing it. Basutti still with it, gives it to Rhodes. 4 seconds on the shot clock. Longino strips him and taken away by Williams. Williams pushing in transition, goes up with the right hand and puts it in. Big shot there by Cole Williams. 55-48 in favor of the Cardinals. Jason Davis now with it. He's guarded tightly there by Derek Mason. And that ball is going to be a timeout. It's going to be a timeout for the Cardinals here, as a little chippiness getting going here as Jason Davis calls the timeout here for the Cardinals. Has good defense there by Derek Mason.
Matt Rhodes, as you mentioned earlier, the hot hand on this Cardinal team with 19 points already. 3 for 6 behind the three-point arc. He is a guy that has really shifted the momentum here in the second half.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. It's been a tough experience this year for Matt Rhodes, a little up and down. But here at the end of the season, he started to come on strong. But we didn't mention that Heidelberg came out of that timeout, and they came out ready to go here, as they did a good job here in this second, right after the timeout, and came out with some pressure for the Cardinals. And now the ball is going to be ready to be inbounded by Phyllis. Phyllis looking to inbound. He gives it to McEwen, who gives it to Davis. Guarded tightly by Petrie. Davis gives it over to Chase Moyer, who is trapped now. They swing it back to Davis. Davis back to Moyer. Moyer pump fakes a three, looks to penetrate, goes down low. Nice pass to McEwen, and a reverse jam! McEwen with the reverse jam, and it's 57-48. Otterbein with a 9-point lead.
That's the second time we've seen that tonight, Elijah. Wow.
The one-handed reverse jam from Mark McEwen gives Otterbein some more life, 57-48. Petrie now. He has it for Heidelberg, swings it to Williams. Williams penetrates, puts it up, no good. Rebound goes to Williams, and he's out of bounds. So Otterbein takes possession again, and Heidelberg now in a little bit of desperation mode, 10:21 to go, a 9-point game. Looking to get a trap and a turnover.
That's the same exact play that we saw the Cardinals execute when Fenner slammed it home.
It's Davis inbounding. He gets it to Moyer. Back to Davis. Now he's trapped, and a foul is going to be called on Longino. Foul's going to go against Longino. That's going to be the second team foul of the half for the Student Princes. Longino's second foul of the game. Matt Rhodes exits the game. Brian McKenzie enters the game. Phyllis is fouled by Petrie. So 2 quick fouls by Heidelberg, and that's the third team foul of the half. And that's going to be the first foul on Mike Petrie.
1-2-2 press being set up here, and all Heidelberg players on the right side of the court.
And now it's Brian McKenzie. McKenzie with it now. He gets it across the timeline, gives it to Moyer. Moyer gives it to Mark McEwen. Now back to Moyer and back to Davis. They set up the offense here. Davis dribbling with it, guarded by Williams, gives it over to Brian McKenzie. Now back to Davis. 16 on the shot clock. Phyllis going to put up a jumper from the elbow, and he puts it in. Big shot there by Jake Phyllis. 59-48. Otterbein 11-point lead now. Petrie, he looks to penetrate. Step back, gives it to Derek Mason, who puts it up. It's off the front iron. Rebound Otterbein. Pushing in transition is Moyer. Moyer looking to penetrate. Kicks it back to McEwen, who gets it back to Davis to set up the offense for the Cardinals. Now it's McKenzie. Looks to penetrate. Has nowhere to go with it right now. He kicks it out to Phyllis. Phyllis a 3, and he's going to be out of bounds as his heel was on the line. Tightly guarded there by Mason. And now a couple of Student Princes have checked into the game as Hart, Longino, Mason, and Williams have exited the game for the Princes, as well as Petrie. So all 5 Heidelberg Student Princes have exited the game, and a new 5 in for Heidelberg. 59-48, 9:24 to go. Now here's Mackey. He brings it across the timeline. He gives to Blue. Blue trying to penetrate on McKenzie, and a foul's going to be called here on Brian McKenzie. A push is going to be called. And that foul is going to be the 5th of the half. That's going to be McKenzie's second foul of the half. And now it's going to be Mackey inbounding on the baseline for Heidelberg. Mackey inbounds. Wilkie puts it up, and it's off the front iron. Rebound Blue. Blue goes up. He's fouled, but it doesn't go in. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2. As that's going to be the 16th foul for Otterbein, and yet another foul on Brian McKenzie. So that's going to be his 3rd foul of the half. And Jackson Blue is at the line.
Jackson Blue at the line, shooting 2.
Blue 3 for 3 on the evening. Hasn't missed yet, and he looks to make it 4 for 4.
Blue misses that first one. So Jacob jinxed him a little bit there. 59-48. Still for the Otterbein Cardinals. I'm Elijah Gonzalez along with Jacob Barker here on the final call of OTV for the Otterbein basketball season. Jackson Blue, he knocks it down. 59-49. Andy Isrombek checks in the game for Chase Moyer.
I should keep jinxing players more often like that, Elijah, you think?
Yeah, you should. Now inbounding is Davis to McKenzie, who's trapped. Gives it back to Davis. Davis needs to get the ball across half court, and he does. Gets it to Phyllis. Phyllis on the wing. Gives it back to Davis. Davis now setting up the offense for the Cardinals. Hands it off to Yezronbeck, who gives to McKenzie. McKenzie with it now. Goes through his legs a couple of times, penetrates, and the ball's going to go out of bounds as Wilkie stripped it from him. 12 seconds on the shot clock for the Cardinals. 8:44 to go here in the second half of play. Davis inbounding from the baseline. Phyllis, he gets a screen. They kick it out to him in the corner. Phyllis going to penetrate on the baseline, kicks it out to McKenzie. McKenzie swings to Davis. A three from the corner, and it goes in and out. Here's Taylor. He's got the rebound for Heidelberg. He pushes ahead as Wilkie, who goes inside to Blue. Blue going up on Juergens and puts it in. Big shot by Blue. 59-51. Now pushing is Otterbein. It's McKenzie to Juergens. Spins in the lane, puts it up. He's fouled, and he gets it to go. Big shot by John Juergens, and it's 61-51.
Good spin move there by John Juergens to get to the basket. I think he knew what he was going up against. He knew he was going to have to fight through two Heidelberg players, but he took that chance.
Jason Davis checks out of the game, and in comes Jake Bischoff. That's going to be the 14th foul on Heidelberg. The first foul on Waldman-Setter. It's the first foul of the game on him. Juergens is at the line to shoot his one shot, and it goes in as it rolls in. 62-51 in favor of the Cardinals. 8:15 to go here. Wilkie with it on the wing. Jackson Blue now looking to penetrate. He's double teamed by McKenzie and Juergens. They go back inside now. It's Waldman-Setter. He goes up with the baby hook. It's no good. Rebound Juergens. Andy has Rombeck. Nice pass to Bischoff, but it's too far. And the ball will go back to Heidelberg. But as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Otterbein already has a spot in the OAC tournament. They clinched the A spot with Muskingum's win today. Confusing, however, Otterbein does get in despite the win. Jackson Blue now. Blue is going to be fouled, and that's going to go, looks like on Brian McKenzie, and it is. That's going to be the 17th foul of the half, so it puts Heidelberg in the 1-and-1 situation. So from now on, every foul that's not player control, Heidelberg will be shooting free throws.
Jackson Blue at the line, shooting one.
Jackson Blue shooting 1-and-1 here for Heidelberg. Shoots the first one, it's no good. And the rebound goes to Taylor. Taylor puts it up and in. Nice shot by Taylor on the reverse.
A great second effort there by Taylor. Fought through two or three rebounds there and was outsized as well.
9-point game now. Meister gives it back to Bischoff. Bischoff with it. He gets a screen from McKenzie. Keeps it. Pull-up jumper. Bang. Jake Bischoff. 64-53. Nice shot by Jake Bischoff there. 7:17 to go. Mackey brings it up for Heidelberg. Blue with it. Trying to get it to Wilkie, and a foul's going to be called on Jake Bischoff. So Wilkie's going to go to the line.
That's his first foul. Team foul number 8.
Checking in the game is going to be Matt Rhodes and Jason Davis. 64-53. Otterbein ahead in this game by 11.
Number 20, Mason
Wilecki at the line.
1-and-1.
He puts up the first one, and it's good. So Heidelberg makes this a 10-point game. Could make it a one-possession game. The second of the two for Wilkie is good. Checking in is Mike Petrie.
Heidelberg substitution. Number 3, Mike Petrie.
Now here's Jason Davis inbounding for the Otterbein Cardinals. He inbounds to Meister. Meister pushing it across. He gets it across the timeline, picks up his dribble, gives it to Rhodes, who gives it to Bischoff. Bischoff swings to Davis, and now setting up the offense is Jason Davis. Otterbein a good job of breaking that press there. And now it's Jason Davis. Davis kicks it over to Bischoff. He's going to pull a three from the wing. It's off the front iron. Rebound, Matt Rhodes puts it in. Nice shot by Matt Rhodes. 66-55. Otterbein with an 11-point advantage.
That's a career high for Matt Rhodes so far. 21 points he's got on the evening.
Now here's Taylor. Taylor guarded tightly by Meister. He's in the lane. Kicks to Blue. Blue puts it in. 66-57. Now Heidelberg down by 9. Meister gets the ball stripped away. Here comes Mackey. Mackey pushing, gets it to Blue. Blue goes up and puts it in. 66-59. Blue with a nice basket there. Mackey, they get it into Rhodes. Rhodes pushing now, gets it to Bischoff. Bischoff is going to give it back out to Davis, and they're going to set up the offense. Heidelberg down by 7, and now it's Bischoff. He gets a screen from Rhodes. Bischoff with it, looking to make a move. Fakes the pull-up jumper, goes inside to Juergens. Juergens puts it up and in. Nice shot by John Juergens. 68-59 now. Otterbein back to a 9-point advantage. Now it's Mackey with it. He brings it across for Heidelberg. Mackey looking to penetrate, kicks it out. Waldman center, puts it up. It's short off the front iron. Rebound goes to Matt Rhodes. And now Jason Davis to set up the offense again for the Otterbein Cardinals, guarded by Petrie.
You're hearing a lot of voices behind us. We got several supportive young kids here from the local area trying to support this Cardinal team. Definitely bright for the future, not only for the players, but for the fans as well.
Juergens now with it. High post, he puts up a fadeaway jumper. It's way short, and now Petrie with it. And pushing in transition for Heidelberg. Taylor looking to penetrate on Davis, a little bit of contact with no call. They kick it out, Petrie. Pump fakes, looks to penetrate, goes up with the left hand, it's off, a long rebound, goes to Blue, it's no good. Rebound by Matt Rhodes, and Otterbein going to slow down the tempo. Now here's Juergens, he goes up, ball's stripped away by Petrie. And now pushing in transition is Taylor. Taylor, he goes up and puts it in, and he's fouled by Matt Rhodes. 68-61 right now, as Juergens talking with the referee and wanted a foul. Not sure why there wasn't a foul called.
He had 2 guys on him that looked like they were trying to grab a hold of him.
And Jacob, an update from the national level. The Duke Blue Devils have defeated the Syracuse Orange tonight by a score of 66-60, and Jim Boeheim was ejected in the final seconds of the game for arguing a couple of calls. So Duke pulls out the victory of 66-60. And right now in this game, it's 68-61 as Heidelberg starting to come back a little bit here as Phyllis and Chase Moyer have entered the game.
I think Duke took out just a little bit of frustration after earlier this week losing to North Carolina, you think?
Possibly. Syracuse, that's 2 straight losses for them. 4:25 to go. Taylor puts it in. The free throw's good, and it's 68-62, a 6-point game. Longino checks in. Now for Heidelberg, full court press for the Student Princes. It's Phyllis, he's guarded by Mackey. Phyllis trying to get it across the timeline. A trap looks like it's coming, and he gives it to Matt Rhodes. Rhodes to Davis. Davis setting up the offense for the Cardinals. Turns down the screen from Rhodes, kicks it out to Phyllis from the corner for 3. Bang! Jake Phyllis, 71-62. Otterbein with the lead. Big shot from Phyllis. Now here's Mackey, gives it to Williams. Now over to Petrie. Petrie swings to Longino. Goes down low to Hart. They kick it out to Williams. Swings to Mackey. Mackey gonna pull a 3, and he got it. Big shot there from Keith Mackey. 71-65, 3:39 to go. Timeout called by head coach Andy Bushlet of Heidelberg.
I think if you're the Cardinals here, Elijah, you think you have to keep that up-tempo play. You know, you got to keep that up-tempo play going, and you have to figure that Heidelberg's going to continue to run that press as long as this game goes along, as long as they can keep this game close. They've continued to do that throughout the entire game. They have not let up. But I think the Cardinals, credit to them, they've countered it with incredible speed. Guys like Jake Phyllis, Jake Bischoff, Jason Davis, they're all using their feet. They're not using their arms to get in the way. They're using their feet to move that basketball up and down the court. And it allows for quick transition plays, quick isolation plays like we've seen from guys like Matt Rhodes.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Jacob. You know, that's something that you look at and you got to say, you know, Heidelberg's done a great job defensively. However, Otterbein just done a good job of breaking the press. Not many turnovers here in this basketball game, and that's something that they've done poorly in the past couple of games. Is the game on Wednesday. I know me and David talked about their turnover problems, but you look at this and you got to say Otterbein's done a good job of not turning the ball over a lot here in this basketball game. (71-65), Otterbein with the advantage here as Heidelberg in a full court press. Jason Davis to take the ball out for the Cardinals. Jackson Blue now into the game for the Heidelberg Student Princes. Davis looking to throw it in now. He gets it to Phyllis, who's trapped. Phyllis nowhere to go. Tries to throw it out of bounds, and a foul is going to be called.
Wow.
And Coach Butchlet is very upset right now as he did not like that call.
One of his assistant coaches, that's Brian Wycliffe, had to pull him away there. Saw him grab a hold of him a little bit. Very questionable call for sure.
Now inbounding for Otterbein is Jason Davis. Davis looking to inbound. Davis nowhere to go, gets to Moyer. Moyer gets the ball across the timeline. He's tripped up by Longino.
Longino can't believe it. I don't think he realized what he did though, as Moyer fell over completely trying to move his feet.
And that's going to be the third foul on Longino, and that's the 6th team foul of the half for Heidelberg. One more foul, and they're in the 1-and-1 Otterbein is. Otterbein with 9 team fouls. Phyllis inbounding. He gets it over to Davis. Davis now with it. He's guarded tightly by Petrie. Davis gets it across the timeline, setting up the offense for the Cardinals. Penetrating in the lane, kicks it out to McEwen. McEwen tries to get it over to Davis, but Moyer can't get there, and the ball goes out of bounds. So Heidelberg a chance to make it a 4-point game. So now inbounding for Heidelberg is going to be number 0, Cole Williams. Into the game now for Otterbein is Jake Bischoff. And Mackey brings it across the timeline for Heidelberg. Mackey with it. He gets a screen from Blue. Mackey trying to penetrate, lost it, and a foul is called on Jake Phyllis.
You mentioned Bischoff there, Elijah. Bischoff, one of the guys that's been rather quiet, as you mentioned earlier. 6 points on the evening for him. Definitely been a quiet guy. Wouldn't be able to tell, though, based on the lead the Cardinals have, 71-65, 3:05 left.
So Mackey at the line now. He's going to shoot some foul shots here for Heidelberg. Mackey, he puts it up, and it's in. 71-66. Now here is Mackey. He puts up the second, it's good. Full court press coming now for Heidelberg. 71-67. Davis trying to get it in. He gets it into Bischoff. Bischoff pushing now in transition. He kicks it over to McEwen, who gets it back to Phyllis to set up the offense. Phyllis guarded by Mackey. Mackey guarding him tightly. Phyllis looking to penetrate, kicks out to Rhodes. Rhodes with the pump fake. Got Williams in the air, but didn't shoot it. Rhodes swings it over to Bischoff now. About 10 seconds on the shot clock here. Bischoff, guarded by Taylor, screen from Rhodes. Rhodes, they kick it out to him. Rhodes for 3 from the top of the key. It's short off the front iron. McEwen with the board. Offensive rebound by Otterbein, and a foul is called. And a timeout is actually going to be called by head coach Todd Adrian before the foul. So 71-67, 2:29 to go, and a huge offensive rebound by Mark McEwen.
Mark McEwen had his eyes on that one the entire way. And you like the fact that, when he handed it off there, he wanted to do something with it, but they weren't trying to force it. They were not trying to force the play, and I think that, if you're Coach Adrian, you want to settle things down a little bit. You want to keep your composure. We've seen a couple fouls here lately, in which composure has not been demonstrated at all. I think between both of these teams, you know, the Student Princes, they're trying to play for pride. They're trying to come out, you know, they're trying to come out with a win. They want to end it with a win. The Cardinals are trying to play for all the momentum that they can get. And I think for a team that's so young, that's headed into the tournament, the more momentum you can get, the more confidence you're going to get. You know, we saw it last year as well. This is a team that was still very inexperienced, came into the tournament, ended up knocking John Carroll out in the first round.
They inbound to Bischoff, who's guarded by Taylor. Under 30 seconds on the shot clock. Taylor guarding Bischoff. Bischoff gets some space. The 5 count back on now. Bischoff guarded by Taylor. 15 on the shot clock. Taylor doesn't want to foul. Bischoff slips, and now pushing in transition is Heidelberg. It's Petrie to Mackey. Mackey goes up with the right hand and puts it in. 71-69, 2 minutes to go. A 2-point basketball game. Here's Bischoff. He's double teamed now. Bischoff tries to get it to Davis. He does, and a foul's going to be called on Williams. That's going to be the 17th foul, so it's going to be 1-on-1 situation here for the Cardinals. Davis is going to go to the line. 1:50 left to go. Jacob, this game has turned for the worse for the Cardinals.
I think if you're the Cardinals, it's not, you can't think of it that way as if it's turning for the worst. You have to keep control of that basketball. They're starting to struggle a little bit now, and you can, and the Student Princes can sense it.
So now Davis is at the line. Big free throws coming up here for Jason Davis. Davis shoots the first, it's no good. Rebound by Heidelberg. Setting up the offense is going to be Mackey as he brings it across the timeline. Huge possession for the Student Princes. It's Mackey. He has the ball, guarded by Phyllis. Blue penetrates in the lane on McEwen. It's blocked. Williams gets it, puts it up and in on Matt Rhodes. 71 all with 1:30 to go. Jake Phyllis now guarded by Mackey. Phyllis trying to get the ball across. He tries to get it across, he gets it to Bischoff. He's trapped here on the corner, and the ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be off Mackey. Nice play by Bischoff there. 71 all, 118. Ball right in front of our table. Bischoff to inbound now. They inbound to Phyllis. 1:15 to go. Phyllis brings it across the timeline. He penetrates. He shoots from the elbow. It bounces out. Mackey with the rebound. 1:05 and counting. Otterbein needs a stop here. Mackey brings it across. Mackey swings it to Taylor now. He's guarded by Bischoff. Under a minute to play. 51 seconds and going. Mackey gets a screen from Blue. He penetrates, puts up a jumper in the lane. It's short. Rebound is tipped out of bounds, and it's going to be Heidelberg basketball. 42 seconds to go, and it's going to be a full shot clock for Heidelberg. Mackey to inbound.
Cardinals got to look to collapse on that interior. Jackson, with guys like Jackson Blue out in the court, they're going to try to get those easy 2 points.
They inbound to Taylor. Taylor looking to penetrate on Bischoff. He goes up and puts it in the lane. It's Taylor. 73-71 in favor of the Student Princes. 35 seconds to go. 3 seconds difference between the shot clock and game clock. It's Jason Davis bringing it across the timeline for the Cardinals. 2-point game. Matt Rhodes gives Davis a screen. Davis penetrates, puts it up and in. 22 seconds to go. It's a tie basketball game. Heidelberg going to hold the ball here for one shot. This game going to come down to a possession. It's Mackey. 13 seconds. Mackey holding it out now. 8 seconds now on the game clock. Mackey looking to penetrate. He's going to penetrate on Phyllis. He puts it up, and it's short. Phyllis with the rebound chucks it down the court, and we're going to overtime. Wow. What a play at the end of this game. Mackey can't get it to go. Nice defense by the Cardinals, and Jacob, we're heading to overtime.
You know, I've been here for 3 years, and this is the first overtime I've seen. And I don't think I've ever seen more of a dramatic ending than that, with the exception, however, it was the same team 2 years ago in which Tommy Waterwash drained that three-pointer, Brent Ford's famous nylon call. So these two teams, Elijah, have seen dramatic finishes, and it's no stranger to either one of them at this point.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. it's going to be a dramatic finish, but as we talk about finishes, Otterbein could not finish off this game. They had a double-digit lead with about 3 minutes to go, and Heidelberg came storming back with that full-court Dean Smith trapping press, and it really got to the Cardinals. We had just talked about how they've done a good job all game of not causing many turnovers, and at the end of this game, they started to struggle with that.
You know, basketball is one of those games, and you talk in a generally speaking here, and Elijah, you can probably attest to this, is that this is one of the things you love about basketball, though, whether it happens to you or whether you initiate it, is that the score can change within the snap of a finger, and that's the drama that you get with this kind of game. The Cardinals, and you can tell the student princes were feeding off of those mistakes that the Cardinals were making. They were taking one too many steps with the basketball. Otterbein wasn't ready. They weren't sure what to do. You saw that in the timeouts they had to call.
And here, as we get ready for the jump ball to begin this overtime, 73 all. It's going to be a 5-minute period to decide the game between these two basketball teams. And if they can't decide it in 5, we're going to go to another 5.
They got Antonio Basutti. He's a shooter out there on the court. Watch for him to get open. Him, Matt, and Matt Rhodes are the two go-to guys.
And here comes the jump ball. It's between Taylor and Juergens. Juergens can't win the tip. It goes to Blue. And now Mackey to bring the ball across for the Student Princes. It's Keith Mackey. Mackey with it. Setting up the offense for Heidelberg. Mackey guarded by Basutti. They swing it to Petrie. Petrie, fadeaway 3, no good. In and out, and Meister with the rebound. They give it to Davis, who's going to set up the offense for the Cardinals. Guarded by Petrie. Davis, pull-back dribble, gets a screen from Matt Rhodes. Davis goes inside to Juergens. It's Juergens now. Looking to go up on Blue, he kicks it out. It's Meister. Meister, a 3 from the wing, and it's short off the front iron. Now pushing in transition is Mackey. Mackey gives it to Taylor. Taylor, he has it, gives it to Blue. To Petrie now. Petrie pump fakes. Step back dribble, gives to Mackey. Mackey with 23 seconds on the shot clock and counting, 73 all. Mackey penetrates in the lane, puts it up with the right hand, and it goes in, and the foul. Keith Mackey puts it in, 75-73 in favor of the Heidelberg Student Princes, 4:01 to go. A tough possession, nonetheless, for the Otterbein Cardinals there. Coach Adrian calling out the signals to his basketball team. But that's going to be the 5th foul, it looks like, on John Juergens. So Juergens has fouled out of this game.
Coach Rob Purley trying to pull his guys to the bench with Todd Adrian right now to discuss their game plan here. You're down by 3 with 4 minutes left in overtime. And it's one of those things where in overtime is kind of the part of the basketball game where you cannot let momentum get away from you, or else it all starts to sink. And I think if you're the Cardinals, you just have to be looking for that aggressiveness, that speed. Heidelberg's going to keep doing it again. They're going to keep pressing. They're going to keep trying to force those mistakes. The Cardinals, they just got to settle down a little bit. I know it's overtime. I know it's the final game of the season, but you have to settle down.
It actually is. It is not going to be the final game of the game.
The regular season, the first season.
All right, so now Keith Mackey at the line. 75-73. Mackey puts it up, and it goes off the front rim and in. Waldman Center into the game for Jackson Blue. Now it's Jason Davis. He inbounds to Meister. Meister guarded by Petrie. Gives over to Davis. Davis clearing out to get a one-on-one matchup with Mackey. Trapped now by Petrie and Mackey. Davis stripped by Petrie. Mackey can't get to it, but it's going to go off Mackey, and it's going to stay with the Cardinals. Nice hustle play there by Mackey, but he couldn't get to it. And now Brian McKenzie to check into the game for the Cardinals. And out comes Matt Rhodes. So interesting decision by head coach Todd Adrian to take out Matt Rhodes, who's had a career high today. And Antonio Basutti to inbound for the Cardinals. 3:48 here, left in overtime.
See what Jason can do here with his shooting abilities.
Jason Davis now with it. He gives to Basutti. Basutti has the ball just across the timeline, setting up the offense. A lot of contact, no call. They kick it out to McEwen. McEwen looking to go up on Waldman's setter. He puts it up and a nice shot by Mark McEwen. 76-75, 3:24 and counting. Here's Keith Mackey. He brings it across the timeline, gives it to Williams. They go over to Taylor now. Taylor step back dribble. Looking to penetrate on Meister. Goes up on Meister. It's no good. Now Basutti pushing the other way. Basutti goes up in on Petrie and puts it in. Big shot by Antonio Basutti.
Great look by Basutti as he had Jason Davis with him. He took one look over to him. That fooled the defender for Heidelberg. That gave him the open lane to shoot it.
77-76 in favor of the Otterbein Cardinals. Here's Taylor. He goes up with it and he's fouled. Taylor gonna head to the line. 2:48 to go here in overtime. Otterbein with a 1-point lead.
It's gonna go to Basutti.
And that's going to be an air ball from Taylor.
That's not something you see every day, Elijah, especially at the college level.
So Blue enters the game, and Williams will exit the game. Coach Adrian over on the sideline talking to his starters, and that shot is good. It's a tie basketball game at 77 with 2:48 to go here in overtime. And it's going to be a 30-second timeout for both. Actually, it's going to be a full timeout for both sides. Otterbein with 10 fouls in the double bonus, and Heidelberg with 7 here, shooting the 1-and-1 on every foul.
Both teams really, not really giving much of an edge here in overtime, Elijah. Not really trying to break things open too much, and I think both of them, you can tell they're trying to protect whatever they can to try and get this win.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Jacob. It's going to be a big win for either side, as it's the last game of the season, as you mentioned, the regular season for both these teams. Otterbein, however, as we've mentioned multiple times here in this broadcast, will be heading to the OAC tournament as the 8th seed in that tournament. So congratulations to Coach Adrian and his bunch, as it's been a rough season, but they do end up getting the postseason bid, and they will be playing on Tuesday night, I believe, is what we've been told, and that game will be covered by WOBN. You can listen to John Bazika and David Kinder have the call. That's going to be on 97.5, the Wild Card. So make sure you tune in for that game, as it's going to be one that Otterbein's going to have to pull an upset no matter what. So we'll see what happens there. But here in this game, we have a thriller, as it's 77-77 here in overtime at the Reich Center.
You know, Elijah, though, you mentioned just getting into the postseason, but that was Coach Todd Adrian's goal headed into this season. He knew what he was going to be up against. He knew he was going to have to fight through some rough patches. If he could get to the postseason, no matter what seed his team was, he's okay with that.
Inbounding now for the Cardinals is Davis. Davis inbounds to Basutti. Davis now with the ball, going to bring it across the timeline for the Cardinals. Davis getting the offense set. Davis looking to penetrate in the lane. Kicks it to McEwen. Back to Davis now, who gets a screen. 15 on the shot clock. Mackey guarding Davis. Davis behind the back dribble. He goes up into Mackey. It's off the iron, and a rebound goes to Blue, and now Mackey will bring it across for the Student Princes. Over to Blue now. Blue swings to Petrie, who gives to Mackey, and a timeout is going to be called by Coach Butchlet. It's going to be a full timeout here for the Student Princes.
Mackey looked like he had nowhere to go with that one. With it being overtime, he wasn't willing to commit a turnover. We've seen that a lot this entire game, Elijah, where players get in trouble. They get trapped in those full court presses and double teams. They got nowhere to go with it. They're going to kill a timeout.
Yeah, definitely something that has plagued both teams here in this basketball game is pressure. 2:03 to go here in overtime. So 2 minutes left in this game. And as we said before, if these 5 minutes can't solve it, we'll go to another 5, but here in overtime, it's still tied up at 77. Otterbein against Heidelberg. Coach Adrian talking to his guys here, giving them the instruction of how he wants them to play these final 2 minutes of basketball. And Jacob, as you see, you mentioned it earlier, Coach Adrian resting his guys for the OAC tournament as Andy Ezrambek has a towel and his warm-up on and has taken off his leg compressor. So Andy Ezrambek pretty much done, along with all the rest of the starters seem to be pretty much done, and looks like this is the 5 that Otterwein's going to finish out the game with. It's Mackenzie, McEwen, Meister, as well as Basuti and Jason Davis.
3 freshmen out there. Does that say about the youth, speak about the youth of this young team?
Very youthful, and now here's Mackey. Mackey gives it over to Taylor, who tried to go inside, and a nice play by Meister as he dove into the stands, but the ball was out of bounds, so it'll stay with the Student Princes. It's Mackey now. He's looking to inbound, gets it in. Here to Blue. Blue looking to penetrate, kicks it out. It's Williams who kicks out to Mackey. Mackey penetrates, goes up with the right hand. Nice move there by Mackey as the shot clock expired, and it's 79 to 77. Otterbein down 2. Basuti, 1:35 to go. Petrie guarding Davis. Petrie has his hands all over Davis, no call. Davis goes up with the right hand, it's short. McKenzie with the rebound, he goes up and he's fouled.
A great nose for the net by Brian McKenzie, following that shot up by Jason Davis. You know, I was really wondering what Jason Davis was trying to do, trying to take it to the basket all the way, but McKenzie followed him up. Probably knew he wasn't going to get a second shot like that, knew he was going to get stuffed. So he'll go to the line.
So 1:23 to go here in this overtime period. McKenzie, he knocks down the first. 79-78. Otterbein down 1. That was the 3rd foul on Cole Williams and the team's 8th. Second by McKenzie is good. Chase Moyer to check into the game for Christian Meister.
Substitution number 20, Chase Moyer.
Now inbounding is Heidelberg. Petrie picks up the rolling basketball and brings it across. Now it's Williams. He gives to Mackey. Mackey gonna go up and he's blocked by Mark McEwen. 79 all.
Great desperation play there by Mark McEwen. He doesn't get his arm up. That ball's going into the basket.
And now here's Mackey. He's inbounding for Heidelberg. Petrie, a 3 from the corner. He knocks it down. Mike Petrie. 82-79. Otterbein down by 3. 1:03 in counting. Here's Jason Davis. The clock is under a minute now. Davis tries to get it across the timeline to Moyer. He kept it in bounds. Moyer looking to penetrate, kicks to McEwen. McEwen swings it over to Basuti. 45 on the game clock. Otterbein, 13 seconds on the shot clock. Petrie guarding Basuti. Basuti gonna get a screen. He swings it to McEwen. A 3 from the corner. He got it from the wing. Mark McEwen knocks down a 3 from the wing. And with 30 seconds to go, we're tied at 82.
What the heck is Mark McEwen doing from all the way out there?
Mark McEwen
by Basuti.
Mark McEwen showing off the range. 20 seconds now, it's Mackey. 82 all. The clock is ticking down. Now we're at 15 seconds. The crowd's starting to get into it here at the Reich Center. Clock under 10 now, it's Mackey. He's gonna look to penetrate on Basuti. Step back dribble. Mackey puts it up from the side. It's no good. Blue puts it in. 84-82. Timeout's going to be called here by the Cardinals. Otterbein can't make the defensive stop, and something that's killed them all year, Jacob, is the offensive rebounding in there. Heidelberg comes up with a big offensive board.
Well, that was a nose for the basket by Jackson Blue. He saw the follow-up by Mackey coming. Basudi did a great job trying to shut Mackey down, but he put up that last-second shot, jump shot. A little shimmy shake there on Basudi that he never saw coming, and Blue was there to follow up.
So 84-82, 0.9 seconds on the clock. They're going to move it back now to have 1.1 on the clock. So Otterbein with a second, which is a lot of time, Jacob, to get a pass down court and make a play.
We saw back in 2005 where there was about this much time left on the clock between Duke and Virginia Tech. Sean Dockery threw up that last second three-pointer from just inside the half-court line. If it can happen there, we got Cardinals have guys out there that can shoot it.
And Jacob,
fully expect to have guys like Matt Rhodes, Basudi, and Chase Moyer out there.
And Jacob, we saw earlier in this game, McKenzie had a chance at the end of the first half as Matt Rhodes chucked a ball deep down the court, and he found Meister, who tipped it right to Brian McKenzie. So maybe this time they can convert. But here, a 2-point game. 1.1 seconds, it all comes down to this. Can Otterbein defeat the Heidelberg Student Princes here in the final game of the regular season and pick up their 4th win here in the OAC? Matt Rhodes to inbound for Otterbein. And a timeout is now called as Coach Butchlet wanted to see how Otterbein was going to line up this play. So he's going to take a timeout as he sees the lineup out on the floor and see how they're going to line up. It's a 30-second, but they're actually going to call this a full timeout, so Heidelberg will have some time to think about it.
What a bunch of turn of events we've seen here in this game. Cardinals started to lose a little bit of a handle there, but they fought back near the end of the regulation, tie the game up. They prevent the winning, the winning point there at the end of regulation. And now we've seen all this back and forth action. I don't think we've seen a lead larger than 3. We haven't in overtime here. Both teams have been playing really tight. They've been really putting the clamp down on defense. Now with 1.1 seconds left for the Cardinals, one long pass across that center court line, just one clear pass. Get a guy to shoot it. With this amount of time left on the clock, just inside half court's reasonable range.
And now Otterbein down by 2, 1.1 seconds. Here against the Student Princes, we've had an incredible game on our hands and looking to have an incredible finish. Matt Rhodes to inbound. The final play of this basketball game. They're giving the Otterbein bench the signal to sit down. Here comes the final play. It's Rhodes. He fakes the run. Now he's looking to throw a baseball pass. He chucks it down to Davis. Davis puts up the shot at the buzzer. It's off the front iron. And that's the final buzzer. 84-82. Otterbein falls to Heidelberg. And a tough way to end that game.
Well, they had Jason Davis. Great pass by Matt Rhodes. What a feed. Jason Davis got a little extra hand in his face, managed to get that shot off, just not enough. For the Cardinals, though, you have to look on the bright side of this one. You're moving on. Your opponent's done. You can't think about what happened in this game here.
And Otterbein, with the loss, is going to fall to 3-15 here in the OAC. And as we mentioned before, Otterbein will be heading to the OAC tournament as the 8th seed, trying to find out who they will play. Hopefully we will find out some point tomorrow. However, the final score here from the Reich Center is 84-82. Otterbein falls to the Heidelberg Student Princes. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will have final statistics and analysis. So keep it locked here on Otterbein TV.
age is the color that your skin was meant to be, no longer beautiful. Every year, millions of young women try to change the skin they were born with and say they die for darker skin. Sadly, some actually do. Melanoma is the second most common cancer in teens and young adults, and one person dies from melanoma every hour. Change your thinking, not your skin. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
We have a job to do out here today. To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team. My team depends on me. And my team is 50,000 strong. Looks like a lot of work's going into this. This is what it feels like to be part of a team. A winning team. The Action Team.
Are you in? Action Team! Action! Get in on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Before we were ever treated for breast cancer, we planned for life after breast cancer. We made the choice
that breast cancer would not take something away from us.
Unfortunately, not every woman knows her choices. The American Society of Plastic Surgeons is supporting the Breast Cancer Patient Education Act, a bill that will help make sure women who are facing breast cancer surgery are told about all their options. Help bring this important issue to light. Call your member of Congress and ask them to support the Breast Cancer
Jacob Barker, and this Otterbein men's basketball game has just finished up against the Heidelberg Student Princes. A final shot from Jason Davis from a fadeaway from the corner did not fall for Otterbein, so they fall to Heidelberg 84-82. Basketball team.
Well, one thing that stood out to me immediately for the Cardinals on the bright side was Matt Rhodes, 3 for 7 from behind the arc for 21 points. Another guy that really started to step up was John Jurgens, despite the 5 fouls he had. Mark McEwen with 9 points, getting that late three-pointer there. It's something that he's definitely not known for. On the other side, though, and we have a name correction, actually, that was Deontay Holder, not Taylor, for the Heidelberg Student Princes. Both he and Keith Mackey end up getting 18 points each. And then Waldman Stetter just followed up with 14 points, and then Jackson Blue with 12. But once again, it was the turnover margin for this Cardinal team. They started to commit a lot more turnovers. They ended up committing 17 in total. And with that press that was being activated by Heidelberg, those started to pick up a lot more. I think the Cardinals going into Tuesday's tournament game, you have to learn how to settle things down a little bit in those situations. Ball control is key in those areas. When you lose control of the ball, you lose chance at getting some points, and you thus risk a chance of giving up points. So that has to be something that must be cut down.
And Jacob, as you wrap it up here, that was a tough loss for Otterbein, but, nonetheless, Otterbein hoping that in the OAC tournament this week on WOBN, you can catch that game with John Bazika and David Kinder traveling up to either probably John Carroll or Baldwin Wallace. Not really sure of the exact location yet, but when we get that information, we will let you know as soon as possible. However, we are going to wrap up our coverage here from the Reich Center. Once again, the final score, the Heidelberg Student Princes 84, the Otterbein Cardinals 82. I am Elijah Gonzalez along with Jacob Barker, wrapping up the final game on OTV of this Otterbein men's basketball season. Catch our coverage of spring sports and look at our schedule to find out what is next on OTV. But until next season, we'll see you later.